Where would you rather be than SEC Saturday night?
I walk 47 miles of barbed wire. I got a cobra snake for a necktie. A brand new house along the roadside, and it's made out of rattlesnake hide. Come on, take a little walk with me, baby, and tell me who do you love? Who do you love? Who do you love? Yeah, who do you
From Fayetteville, presented by T-Mobile. And on a chilly night in Northwest Arkansas, the Razorbacks are looking for bowl eligibility. And the Rebels of Ole Miss continue to chase another 10-win season, which would be back-to-back for Lane Kiffin. It may be chilled, but the stadium is jacked and everybody's calling the Hogs and ready for a big night of SEC football. Let's get it across the field to Cole Kubelik.
Coach Pittman, I know you've had to work in and out with KJ Jefferson in the lineup. What's his status for tonight?
He'll play. He's healthy. He's ready to go. He's the leader of our team, period. Offense, defense, special teams, we're excited about him.
The conditions will be a part of this game tonight. What did you do to get your team acclimated this week?
We're ready for it. We had to throw the football. We had to catch in this weather. Fortunately, the good Lord gave it to us all week.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Cole kind of feels like Sam Pittman is built for this weather. And these two offenses that we'll see tonight, a couple of 1,000-yard rushers, they're built for this football weather. And Jordan Rogers, Ole Miss has a good one. The S.
Now entering Razorback Stadium, these are your Arkansas.
You look nice and toasty tonight.
I'm ready. I got batteries everywhere. Let's go.
Got the
I do. I thought it was like a GPS system or something like that.
How do you make sure the elements don't impact your team tonight?
I'm not worried about it. It's really not that cold out here. It was supposed to be colder than this. Our guys will be fine with that. We got to execute. We got to play really physical, and we got to stop them on defense.
Quickly, you put so much into last night's game. How do you get them to push that one up behind?
I mean, that was last week. Obviously, we don't like how that fit. And these guys played great last week and should have beat L.
Thank you. All right, Jordan, they got a great one in the back.
Yeah, it's hard enough to bring down Quinson Judkins, let alone an Ole Miss has a great scheme. You know what zone read is. It's pretty easy. Running back goes here, quarterback here, puts the defensive end in a binds. That's the regular zone read. But in this, both the guys he's trying to cover are right on top of each other. A little easier for the defensive end to play both. What I love about Ole Miss is they have this new option. It's called a toss option. Now the two players switch roles. Quarterback has the inside, running back has the outside, and the separation makes it so hard for that Ole Miss or the defensive end there to guard both. Expect a lot of that tonight out of Ole Miss.
All right, Quinshon.
Cole, this running back that Ole Miss has, Quinshon Judkins, seemingly came out of absolutely nowhere. So physical. What does Arkansas have to do tonight to slow him down?
Well, first thing Barry Odom talked to me about on the field, he said, Cole, it's obvious, but we need to tackle well. He's a guy that just bounces off tackles. The body control, the lower body power that Quinshon Judkins has, especially for a freshman, it's just out of this world. You've got to keep contained. And one thing that we're going to be watching tonight, these linebackers, they have to stay stationary. That sounds weird because as a linebacker, you want to run, see ball, get ball, but they have to wait for all the window dressing to calm down and then go attack the football.
Ole Miss won the toss. They've elected to receive.
Bates set to kick off for the Razorbacks. The Ole Miss offense will take the field now behind quarterback Jackson Dart. Obviously, the USC transfer has had a heck of a season, Jordan, but what separates him maybe from some other lane-gifted quarterbacks you've studied?
Well, he's a gunslinger, but I think his willingness to be physical in the run game. He's not the fastest, not the biggest, but he's a savvy runner, and he's not afraid to use his legs. I expect that to be a big part of the Ole Miss offense tonight.
Ole Miss starts with Judkins offset, Dart in the gun. Woo, what a grab for Mingo right off the bat. Flag on the play.
Pass interference, offense number 8. That's the distance to the goal. Big first down.
Had to get Jaden Johnson there, but it's noteworthy. Jonathan Mingo in the slot for Ole Miss. He's had to play the tight end position for this squad the last couple weeks because they've been banged up at that position.
Now you get a look at Malik Keith. He just came off blocking. And that's one of those read plays that Ole Miss is going to have. The option play for Jackson Dart to pull it and spit it out to the perimeter. Dart under center. Jet sweep. No gain. Nice penetration from the Arkansas defense as Miles Slusher in the backfield for the Razorbacks. Dart in the gun again. Finds Judkins out of the backfield. Judkins out past the 20, past the 30. Just outside for third first down yardage.
And that right there is part of the development of Jackson Dart, knowing when to escape, when to find your check down, something that he probably wouldn't have done a few weeks ago.
First down. Here comes tempo for Ole Miss. Another fake to Quinshon Judkins. Dart spits it out to Jordan Watkins. And we'll see more tempo from this Ole Miss offense.
Tackling in space for Arkansas is going to be so huge today.
Ball on the ground. Arkansas scoops it up.
Absolutely huge play here by Arkansas. It's the exchange. Dayton Wade comes across on the jet motion, not expecting that to hand off. A lot of times Ole Miss has a read on almost every single play, so Jackson Dart can give it to Dayton Wade. He can keep it. Obviously some miscommunication there.
All right, KJ Jefferson now. And a huge opportunity for Arkansas in a short field. And he'll give it off to Rocket Sanders. They have leaned on the run game for good reason all season, and now they have their quarterback back, KJ Jefferson, back from a shoulder injury, and they're a different offense with and without him. Here's Jefferson keeping it, and he will grind forward for maybe 4.
And a physical run there. Keep an eye on just how healthy KJ Jefferson is. He's been banged up, out of the lineup last week. 2 weeks ago at Liberty was a last-second decision. He's got a banged-up shoulder. You'll see how physical his game is and if he can continue to do that.
So the first third down for Arkansas, key 3rd and 6. 3-man rush. They got a hand on Jefferson, maybe, and he spins one that's knocked away and incomplete, and Arkansas will punt it away. I think KJ Jefferson just happy to get back in the flow after missing last week's game.
Yeah, and that's tough to do. You get out of the flow of practice, and that's something to note. He hasn't thrown the football in practice in a couple weeks. This week, first week, he was somewhat healthy, able to get the normal amount of reps that he's used to getting, but it's been a few weeks. There will be some rust.
Getting a little creative here on a 4th and 6. There was a flinch on the right side of the line, and they wanted to fake it, and they missed the opportunity. Jalen St. John.
Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
St. John was lined up as the right guard with only 3 offensive linemen tight, and had a hard time staying put. And so now Arkansas will punt it away, and Max Fletcher is there. And this one will carry inside the 5 and check up. And Ole Miss will have a long field after fumbling away on its first possession. Reason to celebrate on this chilly night in Fayetteville. Fayetteville, we decided to brave the elements and come down the field. Colt, now we know what you feel like normally.
It's not usually this cold, but you get an idea of just the crowd and the noise and what it's like down on the field, the emotions with the players. I think we've seen a little bit of that so far. Surprised how much Jackson Dart decided to put it in the air on that first drive, because both coaches told us we have to establish the run in order to win this football game.
And you already detailed it. Quinshon Judkins, the best in the league right now. It was a bit of a surprise to some, but he's a guy they can lean on.
Keep an eye on ball security all night, though.
Dart kept the ball in his hands, and he's able to find a receiver that's going to move the ball now. And a gain of 7 to Malik Heath, transfer from Mississippi State, has become reliable for Ole Miss.
I tell you what, you're already seeing Arkansas get pressure on Jackson Dart, something that they have increased the amount of blitzes they've had over the last couple weeks. And speaking of Barry Odom this week,
and now they're able to find the sideline, and a gain of 9 that time for Zach Evans. Zach Evans suffered a concussion in the LSU game, left that game in the second quarter after a hard hit. Lane Kiffin is begging to cut down on Judkins' carries, but they didn't have the depth behind him to do so. And here they go straight ahead and a pickup of 4.
And that's so important in this offense. I mean, they're the second fastest team in the entire country. The amount of plays that they run and how physical Quinshon Judkins is. He needs a spell every now and then, so having Zach Evans back is going to be huge for this run.
And that Arkansas defensive line with the big stop. Only a gain of 1. You mentioned the pressure that Barry Odom is bringing over the course of this season on dropbacks, looking at a 3rd down. Now they blitz about 25% of the time on dropbacks.
Yeah, keep an eye on Drew Sanders. Leads the SEC in sacks. Number 42 is at linebacker right now. Sometimes they add him late. Let's see if he stays put.
Dart looking to throw, has plenty of time. Got all day, and now he's going to let one go, and it is incomplete. Trying to find Jalen Robinson downfield, and coverage on the back end by Quincy McAdoo.
Yeah, backside there, Dayton Wade Working a little out route. Great job on scramble drill. Little bit of contact on the outside there, but I think that ball was too inaccurate as Jackson Dart tried to buy some time.
Bryce Stevens set to return this one. A couple of empty possessions for Ole Miss, including a fumble on their opening possession. And this one a wobbler towards the sideline. Stevens says get away. And after a 37-yard punt, Arkansas will have good field position. So offensive coordinator Kendall Briles had to figure things out last week. Malik Hornsby got the start, and it's another game where Arkansas failed to get more than 20 completions in the game. Now with KJ Jefferson back, where do they lean from a balance perspective run pass?
Well, they got to get the run going first to get the play action going. I mean, we soon forget a healthy KJ Jefferson was one of the best deep ball throwers in the entire SEC. So that element completely out of this offense the last few weeks. Get the ground game going. Those shot plays to Landers and Hazelwood on the outside will start to open up.
It's been a great Arkansas offensive line. Here's Raheem Sanders. Rocket finds a hole on the right side, and he's cut down after a gain of 3. That will leave 2nd and 7.
We mentioned the name Matt Landers. He's made a huge impact on this Arkansas offense. Guy that's been around the league, couple different teams.
Here's Sanders again with a stiff arm, and will have to fight to get back to the line of scrimmage. Landers, originally coming out of high school in St. Petersburg, Florida, went to play for Georgia. Jake Fromm told us in a pregame meeting, this guy is going to take over the SEC. Just never found the consistency there, then went to Toledo, and now more production here as a Razorback than he had his previous 2 stops.
He was the number 3 receiver at Toledo, and you're right, we heard about him at Georgia. The talent never matched the production, but he has found a home here, and he's a big part of this offense. And in here on 3rd and long, let's see if KJ looks his way.
He's pressured. Jefferson steps away from it, gets it away for a 1st down. Trey Knox with the grab.
Boy, the edge pressure almost gets to KJ Jefferson. Cedric Johnson off the left side almost gets it. This is what they missed in this offense. KJ's ability to create and keep his eyes downfield.
He'll hand it off this time to A.J. Green, who entered a 2-back set last time. 2nd and 9 coming up. Cole, what do you make of this Arkansas offensive line?
I think they played really consistent football the entire season. Drifted off just a little bit the last few weeks. That Liberty defense gave them some headaches. They brought pressure from depth. They moved a lot up front. There was some weird looks that they got from that defensive line in that front 7. I talked to Cody Kennedy before the game. He said, yeah, they got us on a few things. They were familiar with what we operate on offense, but they're a group that just works really well together. And I've enjoyed watching them play this year.
Jared Ivey is the injured Rebel, and the athletic training staff tending to him in his right shoulder after that play. Transfer from Georgia Tech. Part of that defensive line rotation. And Ivey will come out for a play.
You mentioned 2-back looks, Tom. Seeing some different looks from this Arkansas offense, and Kendall Briles early. Jaden Hazelwood lined up in the backfield as a running back on one play, moving Trey Knox around a little bit, trying to cause some confusion with the different looks, personnel groupings, and formations early on.
It's good to see Jared Ivey walk off. He's going to be in the middle of the screen right here, right on the nose. A great job of swimming, then gets caught up. Boy, really good job of fighting through, and tough to see what happened there to the shoulder, but good to see him moving it and walking off.
2nd and 9, Rocket Sanders off to Jefferson's right. Two 1,000-yard rushers in the SEC coming into the weekend, both featured in this game. Jefferson. Great grab by Knox again, and he will rumble down for another Arkansas 1st down. It's a 15-yard gain for a guy who's added weight and added a position outside in.
And I think Trey Knox is really starting to make him self-aware at the NFL level. He's going to give himself a shot at the next level. Gained about 15 pounds, was a receiver for this team last year, and just not super dynamic. Said, hey, I can help this team out, and he really has at that tight end position.
Jefferson escapes trouble and right through traffic like running down Dixon at midnight, and he's finally forced out of bounds by Shim Young. 23-yard gain leaves Arkansas with a 1st and goal. Knox has been huge this drive. Jefferson, end zone, caught! And an Arkansas touchdown for Matt Landers. 8-yard strike for KJ Jefferson, and Landers with his 5th touchdown of the season. And what a difference number 1 in the program and on the Arkansas uniform makes having KJ Jefferson back at quarterback. Cam Little for the point after. He is perfect for his career and extra points. And this Arkansas offense may not be perfect, but it sure is a whole lot prettier with KJ Jefferson at quarterback. And thrown to a target like Matt Landers says they can't stop us tonight, fellas. Early in this one, Jordan.
Yeah, and watch this route. It is so good. He's got a corner and press coverage right on him inside. He wants to run a slant. So what he's got to do, he's got to inside release, push up on this leverage, and then slant inside. Does a great job of working that corner. Look, works him a little bit, gives him a little move, then gets back inside, and a really good throw by KJ Jefferson. That is the impact Matt Landers has had on this football team. A great route, a big body, and he's the guy that KJ Jefferson really trusts.
First 4 seasons, he had 6 touchdowns in his college career. He has 5 in this single season as a Razorback. Jake Bates puts it in the air. Dayton Wade will let it go over his head. So another possession for Jackson Dart, who's from Kaysville, Utah. Played at a couple different stops in Utah. Was honored as the #1 quarterback in the country before going to Southern California and USC. Now you might think a kid in Utah would love weather like this, but before he left the state on his way to USC, UCLA, and Arizona State, his other finalists, he said, "I hate playing in the cold weather. Temperature sub-freezing tonight." Here's Quinshon Judkins. Great pursuit by Arkansas. And Judkins able to pick up 3 yards. Met with Barry Odom yesterday, Cole. He said this run game for Ole Miss is so good you think you have a stop. Next thing you know, you look up and it's 2nd and 2.
He said you almost have to play it perfectly or else it's going to be a 1st down or a big gain. And you see linebackers already just a lot to deal with from a motion and a read perspective.
Cole, this view shows me really tight splits for this O-line for Ole Miss. Wide open is Malik Heath. Somehow got open on the post. He's got it past midfield and an Ole Miss 1st down. Another toss to Judkins, and he's brought down the gang of Razorbacks. Cole, Ole Miss, granted, I'm on the field for the first time. Are Ole Miss splits always this tight?
No, this is about normal. I think they may squeeze them down just a little bit more to try to get the overhang defenders closer to the tackle box, because you already see Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr. trying to attack the perimeter against this defense early.
Defense led by Drew Sanders and senior Bumper Poole. They come up the middle, and Dart is able to get it away. And Jordan Watkins stays on his feet for a couple more.
And
that's
guys,
a pickup of 7.
A couple of those plays, that toss play is the one we broke down before the game as it started. That's called a GT toss. Both guard and tackle backside are pulling. Really messes with the linebacker's principles. Something to keep an eye on.
Judkins dances his way through the hole, and this is what makes him great. Another Ole Miss 1st down on a pickup of 7.
Just think about the difficulty to defend that, Tom. That GT toss that Jordan just mentioned. We've seen it 5-6 times already tonight, and the next thing you know, boom. You get an inside zone or duo just right in that A-gap.
Judkins has been one of the most used running backs in college football. Even when Lane tried to give him a break, he's been too productive. Dart quickly to the outside and low. Incomplete. Trying to find Malik Heath on that one. Judkins with a school record rushing touchdowns. He leads the SEC in yards, carries, second in the league in yards per game. Cole, not bad for a guy who was kind of under the radar.
No, and I talked to Nick Savage, the strength coach, about him before the game, and he said he is just out of this world. He is a total freak show in the weight room as well.
Dart, quarterback keep, took a monster hit. That's a loss of 1. Will leave 3rd and long.
But Chris Paul has been dynamite for this Arkansas defense, playing downhill early, even outside the tackle box on the perimeter. That's on right there in the B gap, meeting the runner at the line of scrimmage. Excellent stop.
Quickly to Judkins, and nothing doing. Needed 11, got 2. Drew Sanders with the stop. The Alabama transfer brings athleticism to that linebacking core. They're going to leave the offense on the field. 4th and 9. Dart over the middle. And an Ole Miss first down and squeeze into the end zone for a touchdown. Dayton Wade on 4th and 9. They get a 33-yard score. There is a flag now.
Holding, offense 57.
And Ken Williamson dashes the dreams of the Ole Miss fans on a hold from their freshman Micah Pettis.
Right there, Pettis, the right tackle. Just getting his hands a little bit on the outside. Oh, I don't think Cole Kublett's going to like that one too much.
Not many flags that I do, at least on the offensive line.
So Fraser Mason will punt it away for Ole Miss. Bryce Stevens back for Arkansas.
Okay. Clock operator, please put 5 minutes, 45 seconds on the game clock. 5:45.
Jordan, one thing I've noticed being down on the field for the first time this year is I've kind of turned into my own quarterback. I'm trying like heck to find the play clock. I finally located it between the uprights.
Yeah, I was trying to get associated with where the down and distance markers are up on the big board. Yeah, I'm doing the same here.
Gregory got pressure on it. Ball came loose. And Bryce Stevens able to fall on it. Hudson Clark able to find it, and we got a flag down. An early taste, by the way, of Lane Kiffin going for it on 4th down.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That'll help with field position. It'll send us to a break on a cold night in Northwest Arkansas.
Dari Noka in studio. It is wild at Williams-Brice. Spencer Rattler, Juju McDowell. Rattler in the first quarter plus has over 200 passing yards and 3 scores. Hendon Hooker then for Cedric Tillman touchdown. 7-point game, but Carolina just got into the end zone again. They're up 14, guys.
Wow, what a scene. It's just straight chaos today in college football. Got so crazy we decided to leave the booth and get closer to the action. Hey, how about KJ Jefferson, Jordan? What do you love about this guy?
I love his decision-making under pressure, right? We've already seen a few times him step up in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield. He's such a physical runner, but he's making great decisions getting the ball out of his hands just like this.
And no flag?
I tell you what, this happened about 20 yards in front of me. I'm looking right at it. It looked like the contact was there just a little bit early. KJ steps up in the pocket, finds his man over the ball, and contact from behind by DeAndre Prince. Maybe a little early. Refs didn't see it that way.
Last year when we did this, DeAndre Prince had a pick right in front of us.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted some more screen time. Got on Landers early for the incomplete pass, and now swing out to Rocket Sanders. And they can't find enough blocking in front of him.
It is so impressive, especially down here at the field level, watching these Ole Miss safeties. Otis Reese right there made the tackle on Rocket Sanders. He looks so much bigger in person, and these safeties for Ole Miss fly around. They were so responsible for a lot of the scheme, communication, and they play at all three levels. Really impressive to see down here at field level.
Cedric Johnson back in the game. 44 snaps last week against LSU. They want him on the field more. Jefferson steps up in the pocket, and he's able to get away for a catch, a dance, and a first down for Rocket Sanders. A pickup of 11 for the Hogs.
Well, and that time it was Otis Reese coming out of the third level to try to make that tackle, and Rocket Sanders with the foot in the ground, made a move, got by him.
Play action, try to swing it out to the tight end, and incomplete. Like KJ Jefferson just got moving a little too fast that time.
And remember, it's cold. When you're getting the ball out of your hands quick as a quarterback, a lot of times you don't have the laces. It's even harder when that ball's slick and it's cold. We've seen a few low passes from Dart and Jefferson on those quick throws tonight.
And the mesh, Sanders takes it away from Jefferson and picks up 4 yards. The 3rd and 6 coming up.
Slide Cedric Johnson down inside a little bit, trying to generate pass rush from a different area.
They brought Sanders in motion. Pressure from the right. Jefferson over the middle again. And that is held for a first down by Ketron Jackson. How about KJ Jefferson's presence in the pocket? Now Arkansas going tempo.
Well, that's a heck of a catch by Ketron Jackson. Strong hands. Because Young was right in there on that one.
Rocket Sanders spits free. He's got it inside the 30. And that's a 22-yard gain before Cedric Johnson finally found him.
Boy, this open field move from Rocket Sanders is just next level.
Hogs already up 7, looking to add to it. Jefferson lobs it in zone over the shoulder. It's Matt Landers again. Touchdown Arkansas again. Hogs need 2 wins for bowl eligibility. They got a home crowd behind them on a cold night tonight. Cam Little for the point after. And he drills another.
With 3 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first quarter. Arkansas 14, Ole Miss nothing.
Jordan, how about this catch by Landers? Looked like Willie Mays in center field.
That was a great catch. It was an RPO, so a run pass option there. KJ pulls it down. A lot of times you see quick dart throws on that one. That time, the trust in his receiver and put that one right in the breadbasket. And such a difficult catch for a receiver over his shoulder like that.
I'm surprised you're talking about the catch. The throw. How many quarterbacks do we talk about? A screen, a pass that needs to be floated like that. They cannot put the touch on it. Just shows you a completely different level of KJ Jefferson's game to have that touch and be able to float it right over the DB into the end zone.
So no.
Dayton Wade back to receive for Ole Miss. Razorbacks have opened up a 2-touchdown lead. This season for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities. Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Now, Jordan, I was going to ask you what Jackson Dart can do to find some rhythm, but I would imagine the first answer is Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah.
Dart lets it fly, and that is caught. Well, that'll get it going, and an Ole Miss first down, and then the ball came loose, and it's scooped up by Arkansas' Simeon Blair. Blair's got it to the 44-yard line. What a huge swing. Let's see if this thing will stand. What an opportunity for Arkansas. Second takeaway of the night.
Boy, and you asked, what does Jackson Dart need to do? Well, he went to his playmaker, Malik Heath, who had a huge game last week, and let's watch it. He's got control there. Control. Yeah, ground caused that fumble. I got to bring this one back.
The ruling on the field was that the runner was down prior to losing possession. It's first down, Ole Miss.
That's a 53-yard hookup. Zach Evans in at tailback for Ole Miss. He's the TCU transfer. And replay booth is going to go back to work, it seems. Ken Williamson is our referee tonight.
Ruling on the field was that the runner was down prior to losing possession. That play is under review.
Well, it's surprising. I feel like replay booth looked at that and felt like they needed to give another look. I've looked at it a few times. It sure looks like Malik Heath has control all the way to the ground. It's in his left hand there. Well, it starts to move a little bit, but maybe as you look at it, the ball is starting to oscillate a little bit. Oscillate's a big word. It's starting to move slightly. And I will say one thing to note, Malik Heath has those forearm sleeves on. We talked to Kendall Briles, the Arkansas offensive coordinator, didn't let any of his skill guys wear sleeves in the cold because of that. The ball has a tendency to slide a little bit. This could be a toss-up. Replay, yeah, the ball moves there. He regains control, and does it move again right before he hits the ground? That's going to be a judgment call, and I don't know.
So, Jordan, you're looking at two things, whether or not it was moving before he hit the ground, and did he have enough of control to be down at that point with with either elbow, but it looks like both elbows hit at the same time.
Right. And there is a moment there where McGlothern, right here, right there, where the ball starts to move, but it sure looks like Malik regains control.
First down.
Yeah.
All right, so the play stands. And Ole Miss trying to take advantage of this situation. Barry Odom is the defensive coordinator for Arkansas. He has brought a ton of pressure this season. They've done it mainly because the back end has really struggled. 121st in the country against the pass.
And Ole Miss brings a tight end in the game, Casey Kelly there.
Here's Evans, and he gets bottled up. Loss of one. Both sides going a little bit lighter. Bumper pool exit, so bringing another defensive back. Getting a little tricky here. Dayton Wade. And Arkansas's defense comes up with another big play. It's a loss of 3. wholesale play change after they saw what Arkansas had on the field. Play clock at 3. Dart leaves a pocket. Incomplete. Trying to find Evans.
Dart's limping a little bit after that one.
A lot of confusion, too. I don't think Casey Kelly knew the play when the ball was snapped.
A 45-yard attempt here for Jonathan Cruz. 10 of 11 on the season. This one clears the crossbar by about 1.5 feet. Did not get over by much. And on a cool night where the ball may not be carrying much, Cruz, transfer from Charlotte, is able to get that one over the crossbar. So Sam Pittman trying to get Arkansas back to a bowl, and they can do it with just one win in their last 2. So doing his 3rd straight season, he would join Lou Holtz, Ken Hatfield, and Houston Nutt, bowl eligible in each of their first 3 seasons. It hasn't been easy, Cole, for Sam Pittman since he got here, right? I mean, had to take over a program that was in the doldrums, then coached through a COVID season, and now all this name, image, and likeness and transfer portal. It feels like it's been an uphill battle, yet they found 9 wins last year.
It was wild when we were talking to him about that time when he mentioned all those different things. How about the schedule that the Razorbacks have faced the past couple of seasons as well, including this year? I know BYU a little bit down from where a lot of us thought that they would be, but having to make that trip in the middle of an SEC schedule, opening with Cincinnati, who was in the playoffs last year, it's been a tough run for Sam Pittman, but I still feel like he has exceeded all expectations.
Cruz to kick it off. A.J. Green is back. And no return. So when you're stuck in the doldrums a little bit and things aren't going your way, Sam Pittman says this is not an area where we will wallow. We're trying to get bowl eligible. They have an opportunity here tonight, and they close the season on Black Friday in Columbia, where they've never won, to try and knock off the Missouri Tigers. This bowl opportunity would be huge for this program.
I think it's massive to just continue to celebrate some of the smaller victories in college football. We get so consumed with the playoff, and that's great. The playoff's amazing. But going to a bowl game is still a big deal for a lot of these football players. Just like senior day here tonight is a massive deal for some of these Razorbacks.
21 different seniors playing in their final game as a Razorback. Here's Rocket Sanders.
Well, a lot of times you deal with movement up front on the offensive line. You have to think quickly. Brady Latham, 62, the left guard for the Razorbacks. Watch him quickly turn back and seal that defensive lineman right there. That allows for the cutback of Rocket Sanders. Excellent job.
34th consecutive start for Latham tonight. Here's Sanders again. Hesitates, finds a hole, and a burst, and another sidestep. And Rocket Sanders flexing on Ole Miss tonight. Finally, DeAndre Prince brings him down after a pickup of 28.
The way Rocket Sanders just slithers through the line of scrimmage. Amazing to have that much power and that much patience and still be able to find small creases.
Jefferson has time, pressure from behind, and is able to swing it out to Sanders. And Sanders brought down by the first man. What a huge stop for Ole Miss. It's a loss of 1. Second and 11. shift. Knox to the right side. He was huge on the opening drive. Sanders with the pitch. He gets spun around, and with his back to the defense, is able to pick up 3. That will leave 3rd and 7.
Really important here for Ole Miss to compress the pocket in the lap of KJ Jefferson. Last couple times they've gotten pressure on him, it's been from the outside. He's been able to step up into the pocket on these 3rd downs, keep his eyes downfield, and make a play.
So that's how the quarter will come to an end. Arkansas will be looking at a 3rd and 8 when we return. Fellas, we got a great game, but it's not getting any warmer out here tonight. You going to be okay?
Dari Nuka in studio, guys. Missouri trying to approach bowl eligibility, taking on New Mexico State. Cody Schrader into the end zone early in the second. Tigers up 14-0 on New Mexico State over on ESPNU.
All right, thank you, Dari. 3rd and 8 for KJ Jefferson in Arkansas. This last game with a right shoulder injury. Pressure from the right side. He evades it. Now he's got the sideline. And KJ Jefferson's going to scramble for a monster game on 3rd down. It's a 20-yard pickup.
Boy, he looks healthy, huh?
Yeah.
Just the importance of rush lane integrity there with a quarterback like KJ Jefferson. You get too far upfield, you get washed down inside, he's going to be out the gate.
Great meeting with KJ yesterday. He tried to go in the Liberty game. And here he is keeping it again. But that shoulder injury just led to some inconsistency, too much pain trying to throw the ball against Liberty. And finally they said very late in the week that he wasn't going to go last week against LSU.
You saw it on film against Liberty. The first throw that he attempted to make, it wasn't the KJ Jefferson that we all have grown to see in this league and be so successful. It was pretty apparent.
He threw for 367 in that trip to Provo against Utah. They put it in the air 40 times that night. Now back to corner of the end zone. Bobbled and hung on. Keytron Jackson with the touchdown catch. You guys got a better view. How'd he get so open? Was that a push or a fall?
Oh, there was a little bit of physical contact, but Keytron Jackson at 6'2" just used his body, and it was a great throw by KJ Jefferson. Great job. It's just one-on-one with DeAndre Prince, Ole Miss's best cover guy. I mean, it's a little contact with the left, but I'm not sure if it was a shove, was it?
If he's got Deontay Wilder's left, it was more than just a shove, but otherwise.
I'm an offensive guy, so I didn't see it.
Arkansas has opened up a 21-3 lead on Ole Miss, taking advantage of a couple of takeaways. Jordan, walk us through this one.
Well, it's a great job in one-on-one coverage by KJ Jefferson of throwing a level 2 ball. So his receiver is going to break down the sideline. This is kind of an in-betweener. You don't want to lead him too far upfield. You don't want to throw a back shoulder because of where Keytron is. So he's a great job of throwing a touch ball with just a little bit of air. Not so much air that the cornerback has time to react. Great ball, great location for KJ Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson 9 of 12 to start this game. There's a pylon cam look. What a beautiful catch. Took a little extra for the sophomore from Royce City, Texas. His 3rd touchdown catch of the season. 110 yards and 2 touchdowns for KJ Jefferson. Pardon me, 3 touchdowns. All right, so 1st and 10, Ole Miss, no return. Let's take a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. There's some chilly faces out there around the stadium today, and some more inspired than others. The crowd has managed to stay warm. Cole, how are you staying warm tonight?
Layers, neoprene, scuba suit.
Cole is literally wearing an entire wetsuit.
Dart lets it go. Got a man, a stumble, and just off the hands of Malik Heath.
Oh.
There is a flag down, and they're going to get Arkansas. Quincy McAdoo.
Yeah, that was a tug on Malik Heath's jersey on that one. Pretty easy for the refs to see on the back end.
There is no foul for pass interference.
Down here on the field, I thought I saw it pretty clear. Let's check this out in replay. McAdoo right. Oh, I mean, he's got his right arm extended. It's not a full pull, but he is messing with Malik Heath running full speed down the field. I would have called that one. But again, I'm an offensive guy. I have my biases.
On 2nd and 10. Dart pressured, and they'll collapse on him. No gain.
Tackle at the 25-yard line.
This is an off-the-ball linebacker in Drew Sanders. Watch 42. Left middle of your screen. Fight through the block. Maybe a little grab. Still able to get through. And initially gets the quarterback Jackson Dart. He has just been phenomenal in a lot of different ways for the Razorbacks this season.
That dude is going to blow the doors off the NFL Combine. He is a physical freak. Dart dancing in the backfield, scrambling now, and he's got a step or two, and Jackson Dart will pick up the first down. It's a 17-yard pickup for the Ole Miss quarterback.
Well, that's what makes him so dangerous. Pressure all around Jackson Dart. Finds the lane, and again, he's not the fastest dude, but he's a savvy, smart runner, and he's fast enough to run away from the defense on that one.
Quinshon Judkins trying to find some space. Takes the logo, gain of 8.
Fresh off the Burlsworth ceremony, Grant Morgan, former Razorback linebacker. You just saw Jackson Dart leave the pocket. We've seen KJ Jefferson do it multiple times. Why is that so hard, so frustrating for a linebacker to see a quarterback leave?
Yeah, when you do that, you have just another element of the game you have to defend, and it's hard on a defense because it puts the stress. It puts the stress on the D end. It puts the stress on linebacker. They have to add another element where their eyes always have to be on the quarterback for that element.
Pick up a 31 for Judkins.
And then you see a guy like Quinshon Judkins make a run like that.
Hey, this team is a good team, and they're going to get in some steam. This is a game of runs. You got to be able to withstand their run right here and be able to stop them.
Judkins gets taken down.
Hey, walk me through. Pretend you're a linebacker here. Walk me through what Ole Miss is doing and what you're thinking about.
So with this and how the offense is ran with Lane Kiffin, is he wants many options throughout this game and throughout this play. Every play has a run. Every play has a pass. When you sit here and you look at the RPO, like everyone thinks every play is an RPO nowadays. No, this could be a designed run or it could be a designed pass. But in Jackson Dart's mind, is he's sitting here before, he's pre-reading the safeties. He's seeing where the blitz is coming from. He's checking this, obviously.
What are you thinking right now when he walks to the line?
He's checking something, a hot route, or he knows there's blitzing. Thank God for a penalty right there, but he's checking a hot route. He knows something's coming quick. With Lane Kiffin and the way he runs his offense, they're going to get things going, but the thing is, like I said, you got to be able to continue to stay with your basics and just play sound defense.
You see a quarterback walk up and begin to check things, though. Is that like a win in your mind? Like, what goes through your mind at that point?
It is. I like to yell at them sometimes and say, you're scared of something you're seeing right now.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it.
No, I think that he's just going through his 1-2 reads. He's saying, listen, I don't have this. I have to go to my second. And a lot of times it's a bail route like that and throwing it deep and trying to get his receiver a chance.
So one of the main plays Ole Miss does, they will pull the guard in the tackle backside. And when you see that, technically you should follow, but a lot of times they'll go backside. How hard is that?
Yeah, so when you're a linebacker, you want to read the triangle. You're reading both guards back to the quarterback, back to running back. So when you see that, you got to periph the guards and see the quarterback. So when the quarterback's going the other way completely, you got to just say no way to the guard and tackle and just stay with what the ball is showing you.
Not easy.
Dart took a hit about a yard off the field. There's Cameron Ball with the hit, and Ole Miss will bring on the kicking team. Jonathan Cruz with a 39-yard attempt. Ole Miss is missing a man, and he'll run an offensive lineman on there late, Mason Brooks. No wind to speak of tonight on this ice-cold night in Arkansas. Whoa! And this one is wide right. Missed opportunity for Ole Miss. Graham Morgan was bragging on those Arkansas linebackers. The defense gets a huge stop and holds Ole Miss off the board.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, bringing 5G to hometowns across the SEC.
Hey, it's already holiday season, fellas. I mean, we're not quite to Thanksgiving, but the Grinch is out showing off his dance moves and shut down all the roads downtown last night around the square. It's okay. We're still able to walk to Theo's. That was nice and easy.
Christmas parade was lit last night.
A.J. Green in the backfield.
Good one.
More dad jokes from Cole. You should write a book. A little toss sitting up the screen and room for Hazelwood. Jaden Hazelwood, the Oklahoma transfer, is a leader in the clubhouse. KJ said this is a guy who gets everybody pumped up. He's a veteran on his way to the NFL.
How about big 51 Ricky Stromberg, 10, 15 yards downfield on that screen.
Low snap. Jefferson will take it himself, and he got sandwiched on the edge. No gain. And Otis Reese got him.
I love talking to Kendall Briles about Hazelwood. Came on his recruiting trip and sat down, and Kendall goes, hey, do you want me to talk about all the recruiting BS, or you just want to start talking ball? He goes, let's talk ball. Kendall's like, I knew he was coming right away.
He said, I want to learn the offense. Let's go.
Yeah.
He played at Cedar Grove High School outside of Atlanta for Jimmy Smith, who's now the Arkansas running backs coach. And before Hazelwood told his parents he was going to commit to Arkansas, he called Coach Smith, said, I'm coming. Quick hitter to Hazelwood again. And he had to battle through so much, a torn ACL that occurred during the COVID season and in that summer. So he had a hard time just kind of getting his mind right and getting back into the swing of things. He's the most depressed I've ever been, just away from the game, and going through the grind of getting back healthy was a real battle that he had to win.
It was cool when you asked KJ Jefferson about Jaden Hazelwood as well. He said he brought a mentality to that room that was needed.
I'm sure Hazelwood would say the same about having KJ Jefferson back. Hazelwood was considering transferring as soon as Lincoln Riley left, took his quarterback with him, and a bunch of other Sooners. Pressure coming. They got a hand on him. Jefferson spins away. A pump fake will get him more yardage. And Jefferson cut down on the sideline. Wow, this guy is a monster. It's a pickup of 2. Should have been a loss of 6.
I mean, once again, just a great job of navigating the pocket. I don't know how we got out of that one. It's the strength and then little savvy pump fake to gain a couple more yards there.
Cole, why does everybody keep falling for the pump fake when the quarterback is past the line of scrimmage?
What would you do? If a quarterback's running at you and he looks like he's getting ready to throw the ball, you're going to jump up and try to knock it down.
Every time, guys. 5-6 yards downfield doesn't matter.
Why do people fall for Steph Curry's pump fake? I mean, it's just trying to block the ball.
Because he doesn't miss when he shoots it?
Yeah. AJ hadn't missed through the air too much tonight.
Yeah. Reed Bauer to punt it away. Jordan Watkins runs up on it, and with the fair catch, Ole Miss will have the football when we return to Fayetteville. 21-3, Jackson Dart getting loose. He's 8 of 13 so far tonight for $121. What do you like about his game and his mobility?
Well, I love that he plays the quarterback position like a shortstop, and that's what you need to do in the RPO type spread system. Check this out. When you're a quarterback, you were probably always taught, step to your target, right? Well, when you step to your target, you actually cut off your hips. You lose velocity. You can't change your arm angle. So Jackson, being a baseball player, does a great job of stepping lateral, not stepping straight, stepping lateral. That allows him to get his entire lower body, all that velocity into the throw, but also change his arm angle. So on those RPOs, he's not trying to get his foot right in the right position. He's riding, leaving his feet where they are, and he's able to throw that from any angle. That's why he gets the ball out so quick and it's so effective.
It's kind of taken over all of football, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes played baseball at Texas Tech, and that's a guy who can get it off from any platform, any angle, and they turn to the run game in Zach Evans.
Well, I thought it was interesting talking to Lane Kiffin. He's like, we've completely changed our philosophy on how we recruit quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It used to be the big Carson Palmer pro style, big, strong arm. He's like, now I want that shortstop. I want that middle infielder that can get the ball out quickly and make me right even when he's not set.
Here's Evans, huge hole, and Evans takes it down the numbers before finally getting out of bounds. And the stiff arm helped him pick up 38.
I tell you what, Quinshon Judkins is the one that gets credit for being such a physical back, but Zach Evans will not just run you over. He does a great job with his hands as he's out in the open field. He's always physical at the end of his runs.
Got him out of the portal. Came to the SIP, was at TCU last year. Two running backs out of Texas, Evans and Ulysses Bentley out of SMU, and they've been overshadowed by the job the freshman Quinshon Judkins has done. And Judkins back on the field next to Dart.
Ole Miss back in 11 personnel with the tight end on the field.
Dart, deep drop, lets it go, corner of the end zone, and it is knocked away. And McLaughlin, the LSU transfer, got him Mingo's way.
Yeah. A great route by Mingo. He had a step. Jackson Dart pumped to the right side of the field, so he was a little late getting back to this throw. He ended up having to throw with less air than he wanted to, trying to be more perfect there. If he would have got it up earlier, might have been able to put more air and give Mingo a chance.
In that man coverage, is the pump even necessary?
Not necessarily, no. He probably didn't have to.
Dart. They got a hand on him, and somehow he pulled a KJ Jefferson and got out of there. And surged forward and picks up 9. That's going to leave third and short.
And that deep ball going back to the Mingo play, that's one thing Charlie Weiss Jr. mentioned. He wants Dart to give his guys a chance, more air on those deep throws.
Judkins picks up the first down. It certainly feels different down on the field, right? Like there's more of a sense of urgency down here. I know Ole Miss is second fastest offense in the country, but everything feels like it moves fast.
Yeah, you get an idea just how far these linebackers and nickelbacks have to travel to get aligned and how quickly they have to do it.
Great linebacking core for Arkansas, by the way. They're preaching patience this week. Judkins with the jump cut. And oddly enough, Cole, a half yard can make a difference. They wanted to line up not 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, but 5.5. What difference can that make?
Well, sometimes you give away your tendencies based on where the running backs line up. Charlie Weiss Jr. told.
Second down, 7. Judkins and multiple flags fly.
Illegal formation offense. More than 4 players lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Complete second down.
They looked discombobulated once they got to the line. There's no such thing as moving too fast for Ole Miss. This is what they do, so why are they out of sync?
Well, they are playing in more 11 personnel tonight, which means 1 tight end, 1 running back. That tight end, usually a guy that's on the ball. So now these receivers are used to not having an on-the-line type of guy. So someone needed to be on the line or off the line on that one.
They'll attach Mingo now. Play clock at 3. Judkins picks up 2, and that will leave third and about 10, not longer. Impressed by the crowd tonight?
It's loud, man. This cold weather, That doesn't affect Arkansas fans. Just you and me.
Dart steps up, lobs back of the end zone, flag down. And Cole, right in front of you, Jordan Watkins with a grab from a 15-yard touchdown, unless it's coming back.
Holding, offense number 71.
And it's coming back. Jaden Williams the hold, and from the view of Cole Kublik.
Yeah, this angle right here just gives you such an idea of how effective a play-action fake can be. Really nice job with Jackson Dart by putting that football down in the belly, making you think it's a run play, and then all of a sudden there you see the slam.
And it was Jaden Williams definitely hooked the defensive end on that one. If it wasn't a hold, Dart wouldn't have got that one off.
Big mistake for the freshman playing in his home state. Dart gets it away. Fantastic grab. And a pickup of 11 for Jordan Watkins. And they're going to bring on the kicking team and take 3 if they can. .32-yard attempt. Cruz missed wide right from 39 earlier. That was only his second miss of the season, and he is back on the right track here. That penalty took 7 off the board. They only got 3 back. 21-6 Arkansas.
Dari Noka in studio. Couple of updates. Spencer Rattler, first half, 249 yards and 4 touchdowns. South Carolina leads Tennessee 35-24. Now, there's other things happening that could help Tennessee if they come back, like Southern Cal trailing UCLA 14-0 after 1, guys.
Wow, Dari, 355 yards of offense for South Carolina in the first half. Welcome you back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile.
Yeah, I talked to Shane Beamer this morning, and he said he had a conversation with Spencer Rattler this week, and he said, I could have brought in anybody to be a game manager. I brought you here to be a game changer. He wanted him to play with no fear, and it looks like he's doing that in the first half against Tennessee.
Green takes a fair catch. .438 to play in the half. Arkansas up 21-6. There are a couple of teams in college football that could have turned the entire landscape into chaos, had a chance to pull off wins, but they got conservative. Illinois got conservative late against Michigan. Baylor got conservative against TCU. If you're Arkansas, how do you handle this possession here when you've had momentum this entire half?
Just keep running your offense. I mean, the offense that they've been running has been effective. They've been moving the football. More passing game than we thought there was going to be. Sam Pittman told us we have to establish the run, but that's been there as well.
And here's Rocket Sanders. He's just dragging dudes with him. And picks up 2. Took A.J. Finley at 205 pounds for a ride.
But see, Tom, from this angle, you get that feel for just how small those creases are that Rocket Sanders is able to find in that zone scheme.
Sanders again. That hole was a little bit bigger, and he created some more space. Rocket Sanders was a great basketball player in high school before he decided to focus entirely on football at a Rockledge High School in Florida. And again, Sanders, he's a big Leonard Fournette fan. And you wear the number 5 here, Cole. That brings some accountability, doesn't it?
Well, I tell you, he might not have the explosive capabilities as being a long strider like Darren McFadden, but he does a lot of things in a similar fashion. The power, the ability to be shifty when he needs to be. He's a really fun back to watch.
He's got a phone call from McFadden. He said, just keep doing your thing. Here's that thing. And it's a first down run for Rocket Sanders and a pickup of 15.
Boy, Kendall Bryles said we should be able to hand the ball off and get 5 yards every single time. And right now, this Arkansas offensive line is physical, and Rocket's doing a great job of finding those creases and hitting it fast.
KD Hill is, Ashanti Sistrom is down for Ole Miss. And that'll break up this Arkansas rhythm. Rocket Sanders trying to take over this game.
All right, Dory and Fringe Regions halftime report coming up shortly. We're going to show you how Tennessee is absolutely on the ropes on the road at South Carolina. Vandy's won 2 in a row. CD, we'll get into that a little bit too. Take you around the league. How about Arkansas?
Yeah, Arkansas, I'm looking at this game thinking it's going to be a run fest, but KJ Jefferson is back. He's healthy, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Impressive.
All right, we'll see you guys shortly.
All right, thanks, fellas. Yeah, bit of a surprise. The pair of 1,000-yard rushers, and with the elements, it's not just run, but I say elements, it's just cold. There is no wind, there's no precipitation, and there's Rocket Sanders, and he is taken off again. Great downfield blocking. Touchdown, Arkansas. A flag. A 50-yard touchdown run, but they may have gotten one of those wide receivers. It was blocking downfield.
Holding, offense number 9. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. After enforcement of the penalty yards, it will still be first down.
And indeed, Hazelwood.
Well, that's so hard. Anytime you have an explosive run like that, you want those receivers being physical as long as possible. You're going to see Hazelwood, the middle of your screen. Right on the 40-yard line right there. And just a little too physical as the DB tries to get away from him on that one. A.J. Finley. Oh, but then you got to let him go.
Well, it's still a first down. The ball on the 28-yard line for Arkansas. Just keep feeding him, right? Yeah. And there he is again. And Rocket Sanders picks up 8. Cedric Johnson able to ride him and bring him down.
Yeah, and then talking to Kendall Bryles, he mentioned, look, this front for Ole Miss, it's airy. There's a lot of space. A lot of the tacklers come from the secondary, from the physical between the tackles, get a good push. We should be able to get chunk after chunk after chunk and force Ole Miss to do some things that they don't want to. Get into a lot of run blitz situations, which leaves them vulnerable in the back end.
14 carries, 126 yards now for Rocket Sanders. And Lane pregame insisted that there wasn't carryover from Alabama, but it certainly looks like there is. Here's Sanders carrying the load for Arkansas. Got his touchdown from 20 yards out. Rocket Sanders credits his mom for his athleticism. She ran track, played basketball, flag football, but he said when she was playing flag football, she turned it into tackle. Mom was physical. He's physical. They can't tackle him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the tight end if you want to count 8. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ole Miss defenders in the box. Plain and simple, Arkansas's got the numbers here. Sam Pittman told us about it in the meetings. It's not hard. I talked to Cody Kennedy, the offensive line coach, about it pregame. He said, listen, man, if we've got the numbers, we've got to run the football. That's a perfect example right there of Arkansas having more blockers, more bodies than the Ole Miss defense can account for in the tackle box. Cut back by Sanders, nobody home, touchdown.
7 plays, 75 yards on that drive, all Rocket Sanders. It's a 28-6 lead. You know what Rocket Sanders does before he goes to bed, Jordan?
No.
Okay, good. I didn't want you to guess. Bangs out some push-ups, gets one quick last workout in, and then does some yoga, about 20, 30 minutes of yoga. Wants to hold that flexibility, eases into the night.
So it's kind of like your routine. Do without the push-ups.
yeah, besides the push-ups. And besides easing into anything. Missed opportunities for Ole Miss tonight. Penalties have killed them.
Yeah, it's been the miscues for Ole Miss. A couple of explosive opportunities called back by a holding. And that's really been the story.
Yeah, you saying that's the story. You get two big plays wiped off by penalty. In a game like this, momentum is a real thing when you're playing on the road in college football.
Yeah, you look up at the scoreboard and you look like Arkansas is dominating, and then you go, Ole Miss has 266 yards of total offense. Yeah, Arkansas has more, but they're not moving the football. Just big penalties and not closing drives out in the red zone has really been the story for Ole Miss.
Pick up a 4 for Quinshon Judkins. 2:08 and rolling here in the second quarter. Dart took a couple shots, and he's hooked up on a couple of deep balls. Now check to the sideline for the play. Complete, but only for a few. Latavius Brini, the Georgia transfer, with the stop after a gain of 5 to Jordan Watkins. 3rd and 1. 4-down territory, or we'll see. They don't need the 4th down. Quinshon Judkins with a 1st down run for Ole Miss.
Boy, it's like watching two mirror images of Rocket Sanders and Quinshon Judkins.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, I mean, point at each other like, oh, you run fast and you're physical. I can run fast and I'm physical. He hit that hole so fast. It's a great job by a true freshman. You don't usually see instincts and feel like that at the running back position that young.
Second quickest offense. Oh, it's picked off! What a play by Drew Sanders! Drew Sanders, the Alabama transfer, showed up in town, put in a brand new position. Mikey Shear, his position coach, said, we're going to make you something. They're making him into a pro.
Unbelievable play by Drew Sanders. It's a tough one for a quarterback. When you're throwing a slant to the left, your eyes are out wide to the left, but you're throwing the ball inside. So Jackson Dart never saw Drew Sanders sitting right in that window for the slant because his eyes were outside watching the man-to-man coverage.
This guy was playing defensive end at Alabama, and now they've made him into a linebacker.
Yeah, and he's going to make some money at the next level because he came to Arkansas. They let him play a position that used his talent, that let him develop the skills he already had. At Alabama, I think they kind of wanted to have him gain some weight, play with his hand in the ground. He said, no, I can play linebacker pretty well.
Coming out of Denton, Texas, he was the #1 athlete in the country. It's a loss of 1 for Rocket Sanders.
Tom, I thought the best quote on Drew Sanders that we got from the Arkansas staff was from Barry Odom, and he said, there hasn't been one thing that we've asked him to do that he cannot handle. And obviously they've asked him to do a lot of different things this fall.
45 seconds left in the half. 2nd and 11 for KJ Jefferson. Over the middle. And a big gain for Hazelwood. Gain of 18. Arkansas has all of its timeouts remaining. And Sam Pittman's going to use one right here.
Timeout. Arkansas. First time
the pressure doesn't seem to make a difference at KJ Jefferson. Not when you're 240 pounds.
And again, we've seen
and now here's the Wood.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Jordan.
I wanted you to take that highlight because I walked into a dead space here on the sideline. My mic stopped working. We're trying to find the signal here. I feel like it's a Nokia commercial from 2000. Can you hear me now? I guess that was Sprint, huh?
Yeah, whatever. You would have had a Nokia.
Yeah, the old brick with Snake. Hey, there's not a better game on a cell phone than Snake. Anyways, 34 seconds. Here we go.
Jefferson to throw after the play action. And he's just going to unload that one. Cole may have been open.
So what I was going to say about KJ is that's what they missed with him out of the lineup. The ability to not scramble when there's pressure, right? Malik Hornsby is a great athlete, not used to hanging in the pocket. And Cade Fortin as well, not used to being under pressure and delivering the football. So KJ has that element to be able to stand in there, deliver the ball under pressure, take those hits, and also keep his eyes downfield as he's scrambling.
Hogs have a pair of timeouts. This is a 2nd and 10. Ketron Jackson in motion. Little pitch. Here's Rocket Sanders. And there's a lot of room. He's got a first down. And that'll stop the clock for a moment after a pickup of a dozen. 20 seconds left in the half. Well, we got a moment. Let's hear from Laura Rutledge in Academy Sports.
Wherever fun happens, Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
"20 seconds left in the half. What a creative way to get it to Rocket Sanders with the pass. It's a little shovel to open up a huge lane for him. By the way, this atmosphere has turned into an Arkansas party tonight. And those scores are wiped off the board due to penalty. It's put momentum on the Arkansas side. And a score here would be momentous. Get the ball to start the second half. Jefferson finds Rocket Sanders, and he steps out of bounds after a pickup of 5. 15 seconds left.
Such a good job there by KJ. Again, keep singing his praises, but when you're in the red zone, especially as the clock's ticking down in the half, it's touchdown to check down, right? You want to keep the ball in play. Great job of his checking it down, picking up a few more yards, getting closer so they can take a few shots into the end zone here with 15 seconds left.
Ball on the 13-yard line. Sanders is still in the backfield with him. They have one timeout. We got multiple flags, and he'll just fire this one to the end zone, and it was knocked down by Trey Knox. Ten seconds left.
Boy, down here in the red zone, Matt Landers has kind of been that jump ball guy. The only problem.
Defense number 23. The 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
That's going to give Arkansas a few more yards. I was going to say the only problem is Miles Battle, number 6 for Ole Miss, is on Matt Landers. He's 6'4", so it's not like you have that big of a size advantage for your jump ball guy who's 6'5". Let's see if they try to work the middle of the field here. A lot of times they like that goalpost route. Levels read, quarterback throws it up to the goalpost. Maybe Hazelwood here in the slot.
Yeah, Hazelwood and Landers on the far side.
Ole Miss going to bring pressure, though.
They'll give it to Sanders. And Rocket Sanders has blockers, and he is in. Touchdown, an 8-yard run for Rocket Sanders. All Arkansas in his first half. And over here at the Ole Miss sideline, they look bewildered.
And such a good block here by Luke Jones, the left tackle, climbing to the second level, plowing the way for Rocket Sanders. And that penalty allowed Arkansas to be in a situation where they can run or pass.
They're going to review the touchdown run for Sanders. My glance, my angle, guys, I saw him going down, but also on top of an Ole Miss defender.
Well, I was on the opposite goal line here, and it looked like the ball crossed first to me. There was a lot of traffic But I didn't see a knee go down before the ball crossed over the plane.
Yeah, I think the knee does go down. He ends up on top of an Ole Miss defender, but I think the knee goes down a little bit before that.
Yeah, he was on Tysheem Johnson.
Well, maybe not. It's tough to tell there.
They do something pretty cool here at Arkansas. On the Jumbotron, they have the officials' view, so you can see exactly what they're looking at.
The field is confirmed. Touchdown.
And there you go.
Boy, that knee almost goes down. It's so close, and then he gets on top of the Ole Miss defender. But again, that penalty gave them the yardage to be comfortable handing the football off there.
Here's Cam Little for the point after. No tights, no sleeves, nothing. This dude did the gritty after beating LSU in overtime. And he's still perfect. A great couple of years for Cam Little as a kicker here at Arkansas. Arkansas up 35-6. And coming up the half, you can watch a live performance from the Razorback Marching Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Guys, this is shocking to me. Cole, how much of this could be a hangover from that great effort they had against Alabama?
I think that's very real, but you guys talked to Lane Kiffin about it before the game. We talked to Lane Kiffin about it in our meetings. I talked to a couple of assistant coaches before the game, said they had a great week of practice. They're excited to get out here and play another football game. But reality is, especially when you had that week off, you put so much into an opponent, and then an opponent like Alabama, and we know that's one that emotionally just means a little bit more to Lane Kiffin, and obviously this Ole Miss program knows what it's like to pull that off. They've done it multiple times in recent memory, so you could see where that would make things a little bit more difficult.
5 seconds left in the half. And the ground ball will be taken by Ole Miss. Fitting. Arkansas baseball has the #1 recruiting class in the country. So 4 seconds left in the half. Just take a knee, take it to the house, Jordan.
Oh, I'm right here by Lane Kiffin in this offense running out, trying to see. He just said something to Dayton Wade real quick. The receiver here standing right down by me. And
it's like he's hidden. I don't know that Arkansas sees him out there.
I think that's.
Talk about spreading it out. Wade is at the hash marks on the sideline. They will run it, and Zach Evans takes it inside the 30. So over here, the Ole Miss team heading off the field, and they're heading off with a 35-6 deficit. And this is a team that put up an incredible effort last week against Alabama, left it on the field there, came up just short. They've been outplayed, Jordan, in this first half. Let's hear from the Arkansas side. Here's Cole with the head coach.
Do you just keep running inside zone until they make an adjustment or stop it?
Well, you know, there's a read off of it, so we've been throwing the ball a little bit off of it as well, but our kids kind of figured them out there towards the second quarter and blocking them up pretty good right now.
What kind of creature is Drew Sanders, Coach?
Yeah, a really good player, man. Great pick, and then our offense. That's what we didn't do last week. We didn't score on turnovers. We've done it today.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Well, not sure we expected this type of output from Arkansas. It has been dominating. Let's get back to the studio, have the guys tell us exactly what's going on everywhere else.
I like the old Jordan Rogers.
Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by T-Mobile. Yeah, freezing temperatures here in Arkansas. I apologize to our sponsor. I'll get it right again, I promise. It is cold down here. It is really cold, but we're happy to be down here. It's been a blast. It's a great perspective of this game.
Yeah, I think the unique perspective of all the movement that both of these teams do in the run game and how that's affecting the linebackers, the second level. Obviously, Arkansas has capitalized on that big time.
For me, it's kind of like, okay, you guys are Arkansas offensive linemen, okay?
Yeah.
Rocket Sanders, he's getting these kind of gaps right here. And he just has the patience to just be like, whoop, 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 and then he comes out and gets big-time yardage.
He just got sound effects. We got whoop, whoop, whoop.
I tell you what, though, the difference has been KJ Jefferson. This offense needed him so much. He's done it with his legs first, buying time in the pocket, making plays. But really, the difference has been his arm. He has found guys in tight coverage. There you see Matt Landers again down the sideline to Matt Landers on an RPO, and then finding Keytron Jackson with a nice little touch pass in tight coverage. Those are throws that Arkansas has not been able to execute the last 2 weeks. That's been the difference.
Ole Miss has only been outgained by 60 yards in this contest, yet they trail by 29. Elements, impact, motivation when you're down 29?
Well, a little bit, right? You halftime, you hit that lull, you stop moving a little bit, you come outside, it's still cold, it's even colder. So this is an important opening drive for this Ole Miss defense. They got to give their offense some momentum.
Because we talked about Rocket Sanders. I asked Sam Pittman, do you just keep running inside zone until they make an adjustment or stop it? You mentioned what KJ Jefferson's done. There hasn't been a lot that has not worked for the Arkansas offense tonight.
You mentioned it. Let's watch early. Is Ole Miss going to start dialing up some of these run blitzes? Are they going to start stacking the box? Because you showed Arkansas is running at a light box. They're taking advantage of having an extra guy, and they're gashing them.
Jefferson 14 of 18 for 164 and 3 touchdowns.
And with Knox in the game, you got numbers here again. You're playing 3 defensive linemen.
Jefferson to throw and complete. That's Matt Landers in a pickup of 7. Let's talk about Matt Landers for just a minute. I mentioned this in the first half. Jake Fromm was raving about this guy when they were together in Georgia. He said Matt Landers is going to absolutely demolish everyone in the SEC. It never happened for him at Georgia. It didn't work for him at Toledo. So what is working now?
Well, Sam Pittman told us, I felt like I could bring him in and I could work with him. I could help him. He had that relationship from his time in Athens, and he's just responded. Some of that time is going to be, maybe a little bit of a last chance philosophy. Doesn't think he has too many more opportunities, but whatever Sam has done, it's working.
3 100-yard games for Landers. Here goes Rocket. Sanders in a dead sprint and to the end zone. He is in again. A 68-yard run. Celebrating with the money seats. Rocket Sanders having a night. 18 carries, 221 yards for Rocket Sanders.
And not the start that I was talking about for Ole Miss defense.
That feels like a sledgehammer.
That is a dagger.
Here's Cam Little.
And you could see it on the faces of the Ole Miss defenders. We're down here in the end zone. I saw them as soon as Raheem Sanders crossed the goal line, and they were celebrating dejection.
We started to move. I thought you were going to try to race Rocket Sanders.
I was thinking about it, and then Cole got in my way. Of course, an offensive lineman.
No, maybe have a little experience needing to get out of an official's way. I was trying to help you out a little bit there. Combo block right here. Right guard, right tackle, Bo Limmer, Dalton Wagner. But watch Trey Knox right here, just kind of fake and then whoop, out of the way. That's going to take an extra defender out of the play as well. There you see the combo. 23, Kari Coleman has no idea exactly how to play that. He was manned up with the tight end, thought he was going to block. Then he exits. Nothing but green for Rocket Sanders.
Moments ago, Jordan, right in front of us, Jackson Dart was playing catch with the manager, trying to get loose, trying to get warm. It's like 28 degrees here right now. How hard is that? Does it make it more difficult when you're down 36?
Absolutely. Also saw him kind of flexing that right knee a little bit. We saw him hobble off on a play in the first half. It gets cold. That starts to affect you a little bit, but they got to find a way to hit some of those shots downfield. Jonathan Mingo hasn't been as big of a factor as we thought he may be. Dayton Wade has had a couple that penalties have brought back. They got to hit a play action, get some momentum here early, or this one's going to get ugly here. I mean, well, it's already ugly.
It's pretty ugly. You know what's working, though? My vest. I got my banded vest, the Realtree folks hooked us up. The thing is heated, and it is moving right now.
But here's the thing. You didn't tell me it was heated until about 2 minutes ago. I'm like, wait, this thing turns on? Tom comes over and clicks it on. I'm like, oh. That's what I've been missing.
Yeah, thanks to Realtree and Bandit for the hookup. Lane's wearing his tonight. He came out before the game, said I didn't really feel like it was that cold. But he joked about this week, once they figured out that Realtree had this, well, maybe we could put it on our quarterback. Maybe Jackson Dart could wear it. And then there's some conversation that maybe you don't want a guy out there with heated elements and a battery pack. Probably not, but what's important for the quarterback is the pocket he's got on his back right now has those hand warmers in there. Every time he gets an opportunity, you grab those, get those hands nice and warm. Pick up a 4 on the completion, but an immediate hit. That ball came out of his hand clean. I like the plan early, get Jackson Dart out of the pocket. Arkansas has been pressuring him, making him move off his spot all night. Start making this defense move sideline to sideline. Pressure up the middle. Judkins patient, and he breaks free. Quinshon Judkins takes it outside the numbers before his ball came loose. It was taken away. Dwight McLeather just ripped it right out of his hands. Wow. He just stole it from him. I mean, that is the thing with Quinshon Judkins. He's so physical. At no point does he ever think the play is over, so he's still trying to fight off a defender. And McLeather goes straight for the football and rips it away from Judkins.
Dwight McLaughlin, the ultimate competitor, MVP of the Army All-American game, coming out of high school, signed with LSU. Eli Ricks was there, Derek Stingley was there. Didn't bother him one bit. He wanted to go compete for a spot. Didn't work out there, working out fine here for Sam Pittman in Fayetteville.
KJ Jefferson wanting to quiet the crowd a little bit. And Arkansas goes with A.J. Green, the sophomore out of Tulsa Union, picks up 10.
Once again, right side of that offensive line, just bulldogging this Ole Miss defensive line. Left side of your screen, watch the push, the movement.
Well, and Cole, think about it. We keep talking. They're in a 3-down front. KD Hill, the nose guard's 310. Outside of that, you got Jared Ivey, that's 265 on the other side. Tavius Robinson, 265. They're just not that big up front. And right now, Arkansas just pushing them around.
Remember, Chris Parker's D coordinator, Tom, told us it's hard to get big when your big guys aren't available.
Yeah.
Snap was a little bit low. They'll run it again with A.J. Green.
And that's why we thought we might see some more of these blitz pressures to slow the run down, stacking the box a little bit more.
Aishim Young in the middle of a little bit of pushing and shoving after the play. He didn't like the fact that big number 70 Luke Jones put his hands on him, and Young 215, Jones 327.
We got a hand warmer down on the field. Hey, I'll take it. Over here, white hat. No.
That's a fanny pack. Look good on you.
Hey, those are in style now, Tom. They came back around.
Green hangs a U-turn. And Jefferson jumps up.
Tom, get down here and feel it. Feel the energy, feel the grass. You want to be at field level, you want to experience it, this is it. I didn't say eat the grass, but you have a different diet than I do.
It's earthy.
It's also painted.
That can't be good for you.
This is how you feel it right here. This is where you get the feel of the O-line, the D-line, exactly how things are working out in the trenches. It's the best view in the house right here.
I think Les Miles was onto something.
Not on a staff right now, so.
I spoke in the past tense. Jefferson finds Knox, and Knox will be ridden by the first man on top of him. That's a loss of 2. And A.J. Finley making his 20th consecutive start.
A.J. Finley, been such a great football player for this program. 1,000-yard rusher for Steve Mask down at St. Paul High School in Mobile. He was just 17 when he graduated. So he was young coming out. It's going to take some time to develop, and he's just gotten better over the course of his career, especially this year now that he's healthy.
Cole, I just got a grass stain on my blue Deltas. I'm not very happy with you. 47-yard attempt for Cam Little. The first day he ever put on pads for his high school team, they said, hey, we got a JV game tonight. You want to kick? And that one is wide right. He's been perfect on extra points, and feel like we got enough red meat last night. That's the turf we have. Man, this stuff is delicious. Do you have any ranch dressing?
Dory Noke in studio, continuing to watch what's going on at Williams-Brice, where the upset continues to brew. Juice Wells into the end zone for Cocky. 65-yard drive. They've got an 11-point lead on Tennessee late third, Tommy.
It's getting interesting there. Dart dancing around in the backfield, and they're all over him. How about Sanders again?
Coming on a little bit of a twist off the right side of that offensive line. Speed, power. He's got pass rush moves. I mean, think about it. He was a on the line of scrimmage pass rusher at Alabama. His versatility is just going to be so valuable.
There's a shot to the perimeter. And a monster hit right on the sideline. Pick up a 14. It's Malik Heath. Dart complete for a first down. That's a gain of 12, right back to Jonathan Mingo this time.
Yeah, that's right off that little toss option that we broke down. They have a lot of plays, especially in the play action game, that they can get off that. Problem is, they haven't been able to get it going on the ground so much. That play action hasn't been as big of a factor.
Pickup of 2. On 2nd and 9, Dart will hand it off, and Zach Evans finally gets taken down after a first down. Lane Kiffin was really happy about grabbing Zach Evans from TCU, not just his explosiveness, but he said, here's a kid who can run any scheme that you have. And part of getting him involved at Ole Miss was learning to play with tempo. Dart chased again. I'm open. Oh, so the cheerleaders
make a play on that one, Tom.
Well, there's a little drop back in his zone. I think Barry taught him the drop 8. I had nowhere to go.
Well, I love having that conversation with Barry Odom about transitioning from the booth down to the sideline. He says, look, I call a much better game in the booth. But this defense, this team, needs me to look him in the eyes at some point throughout the game, and he's got him playing at a high level right now.
This is Evans again. Picks up 2. Barry Odom, when Sam Pittman put his staff together, was able to bring in a guy who was a head coach in the SEC, lean on him in so many different ways. And Cole, you just get the sense from Sam Pittman, his first go at it is as a head coach, now 3 years in, looking for another bull. Barry Odom's kind of like a security blanket for him.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think he can lean on him. Another guy that has head coaching experience on that staff. And Barry Odom told us you never have to wonder what Sam Pittman is thinking, because he's always going to be honest. He's always going to tell you what's on his mind.
3rd down 8. And Dart missed his man. Overshot Dayton Wade. Cole, he was running towards us and was wide open.
A little bit of pressure in the face of Jackson Dart there. And just on a 3-man rush from Arkansas, I'm not sure if that had that much of an effect on Jackson Dart. You see his reaction right after the play. He knew he had it. just couldn't connect.
They'll leave the offense on the field on a 4th and 8. 36-point deficit for Ole Miss.
42 creeping up Drew Sanders.
Chris Paul Jr. next to him doing the same. Sanders 6'5", 233. Dart fires. This is Mingo. Changes direction. Got a blocker. Heath gives him that block. But it's a flag on another one. And what was a fantastic gain by Mingo is going to get erased again. Another huge Ole Miss offensive play. And Heath will wipe away a 26-yard gain with a block in the back.
Just absolutely brutal. Nice throw, nice catch.
Hey, that previous pass that Dart misfired on didn't really bring his feet with him. I did a breakdown earlier about how he throws so well off platform, but as a right-handed quarterback, when you're throwing it far to the right.
Offense number 8, 10-yard penalty for spot of the foul, will still result in a first down.
You got to bring your feet with you on that throw. Throwing to the left, much easier for a quarterback to have your feet wide open. On this throw right here that he was accurate on, did a great job of resetting his feet right there. Got his feet back, his toe and his hips pointed to the left a little bit more. The previous one, his feet were pointed at the goalpost and tried to throw it far to the right. And that's why he was inaccurate, and the block in the back there.
Still got him a first. Yeah, came after the first down. Pressure, Dart. Here's Mingo on the opposite side now. And that's a pickup of 6. Dart hands it off. And a surge forward for the first down by Zach Evans.
I got to think that Jackson Dart's got to find Malik Heath down here in the red zone. They've stalled a few drives out. He's their best one-on-one guy.
12th play of the drive. And a hit, but an escape. And there's a pickup of 5 by Jonathan Mingo. Thirteenth play of the drive. They'll run it straight ahead. No gain.
Nice, that Ole Miss offense going to go fast here. Try to get line back up. We'll see what we see defensively. It doesn't look like Arkansas is going to go heavy. Ole Miss continues to stay spread out. So just an odd defense here. Nose, 2 wide ends, which is a lighter box if you wanted to try to run north and south.
High snap, Dart corrals it. And on the move, everybody's covered. He'll take it himself and gets somersaulted at the sideline. Quincy McAdoo put him over his tea kettle.
Boy, I'm with you, Cole. I think they had an opportunity to go Q run, quarterback run there between the tackles. They sprint Dart out. He has the protection. Coverage is just too good on the outside. Nowhere to go with the football.
Fourth down for Ole Miss. Dart pulled it back. Fires and incomplete. Malik Heath lost his footing on the side of the end zone. These end zones are painted red. There is very little grass in these end zones. It's left skid marks through the end zone. And a turnover on downs. Arkansas has its hands firmly around the throat of this game. A little bit about the elements here at Razorback Stadium tonight. This is what should be grass, but Cole, that's like frozen tundra down there.
No, it's rock hard. You see no dirt flew up at all. How smooth those cleat marks are right there. You can see why Malik Heath lost his footing.
So he tried to get there, but just couldn't. Why do your gloves?
I feel like this is like ice right here. Some ice Right here. Tell me how that tastes. A little ice right there. Yeah.
It wasn't ice.
It's dead. Sorry.
Yeah.
You mean to...
It's not good for me. Jordan, how are you doing over there?
Guys, I got to tell you, the heated bench is nice. It is real nice. I might just stay here for a while until someone kicks me out.
KJ Jefferson with his heels on the goal line. Cole, I prefer just one cube.
Noted.
Wow. That's a nice big hole that opened up. That's a pickup of 13 for Rashad Dubian.
I tell you what, it's almost like a little bit of a massage chair as well. It's like vibrating a little bit, and it's hot. Like, I'm not going to move. I'm sorry. I got a great vantage point here, guys.
Don't be sorry. Just enjoy it.
It's really nice. I can feel my legs again.
How's your heated vest?
Yeah, it's warming up. It's nice. Finally, you told me to turn it on. Very kind of you.
A little hurdle at the end. Well, Jordan looks like he's in a tropical locale. Anything but right now. It is 24 degrees here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Feels about 90 where I'm sitting.
The feels like is 23. What's your feels like right now?
Yeah, about 85. What do you think? It's warm on the bench, huh? Yeah, it's nice. God.
Making
Love
friends?
It. You think they'll kick me off? You think they'll kick me? No? You'll vouch for me, right? Oh yeah, I got you.
We got toasted buns on one side and shirtless dudes on the other.
Good Phil.
Dubinion. Ain't tackled after a pickup of 2. KJ Jefferson tried to sneak, and it's a loss of 2, and then some extra pushing and a flag, and they rode him all the way back to the 10. Otis Reese will draw the ire of all of those offensive linemen. Sam Pittman is halfway on the field calling his guys back.
I think the official's going to have a discussion about whether or not Otis Reese is going to stay in this football game.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 3, 15-yard penalty from the succeeding spot, automatic first down.
A heck of a job by the interior of the defensive line, be able to get that stop initially, but then Reese a little extra, and then right there is what I thought the officials might take a look at, and you could make the case that that was a punch thrown.
I will say, it looks like he's trying to punch at the ball. I know it.
Yes, I agree.
Probably a little late, and it looks bad from there, but as KJ's falling, I think he was trying to punch that ball out.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it again.
But
Don't think he needs to be ejected, but
yeah,
when you first saw it, it looked like it was possible.
Yeah, totally.
Jefferson's going to air it out. He's got a man wide open. Flags on the play. A little bit underthrown when Landers came back. Igbinosun got in his way.
Well, KJ under a little pressure on that one, too.
Defense number 20, 15-yard penalty to the previous spot, automatic first down.
Well, KJ does a great job of giving his big-bodied receivers a chance, but I think the pressure in his face caused him to throw this one a little bit short. And Igbinosun is in phase, trying to turn for the ball, but the ball is so short that Matt Landers slows down. That's why there's the contact. I think that ball is thrown accurately or out in front. Igbenogsen's probably right in phase and makes a good play, but the underthrow there causes that pass interference.
So from the 44 now, and they'll turn right back to the running game and a crawl forward for Dubinion. Nine-yard pickup.
Excellent job by center Ricky Stromberg. 51 there for Arkansas, just grinding up to the second level.
Flag down. Jordan, did they kick you off the bench?
Offense, not all 11 players were set for a full second. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
No, they didn't kick me off, but you know the ball's coming down this way, and I just felt I got a little nervous, you know. So I'm standing in the cold again.
How do these refs keep warm?
They get to run around.
You got one right next to you. Just pull a Kublik and get in his way.
You warm? Are you warm? No. No? Cold? You get to move around though.
2.5 to play in the quarter, and A.J. Green taken down for no gain.
Everybody fighting through the elements here, refs included. They don't get to wear the big jackets, you know. That's a thing. Or probably the scuba suit that Cole's got on.
Cole, you're really wearing a wetsuit under your civilian clothes tonight.
I am.
Hang 10, bro.
Wheel route. Oh, just a hair behind A.J. Green. Jimmy Smith not happy on that Arkansas sideline. Missed opportunity.
Had A.J. Green wide open on a little wheel route. 2 protection slants on the inside to grab that defender. That's tough for a quarterback because you see linebacker working over the top. So KJ's thinking a back shoulder ball. The throw was a little rushed and just not on the same page with Green.
Ole Miss uses a timeout before the Max Fletcher punt.
First timeout.
Jordan, you're in front of Jackson Dart.
I am watching him right now about 15 yards away, yeah.
It's got to be impossible to stay warm on a night like this. Like every time you come off the field, that arm's got to tighten up again.
Yeah, and as a quarterback, I always went and found these big, almost like, I don't even know what they are, big jet heaters. They look like airplane engines. Go find those on the sideline. Put your right arm. I mean the whole right arm. Get your shoulder down in there, your hands. Try to get it as hot as possible right before the drive starts.
Did you ever lose any skin doing that?
Swan will check up at the 1. Oh. I'm going to say it's at about the 3. That was beautiful. Special teams clinic put on by Max Fletcher. Like Jordan's gap wedge here. Stop, pin high.
Dory Noke in studio. Let's look at the road to the championship, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Of course, LSU knows it's going to the SEC championship where it will face Georgia. How about this run by Jaden Daniels? Down to about the 10-yard line. Eventually set up a Noah Kane 1-yard run there, leading UAB 21-10. Guys, will update South Carolina, Tennessee in a moment.
Quinshon Judkins found a hole, and that is dead sprint. They finally track him down.
Wow.
The plan before that play, fellas, was for Arkansas to bring pressure. Then there was a late change, and Barry Odom was yelling at his guys to watch his shovel pass. Then they just got beat with a huge hole.
Yeah, it's weird, Tom. I didn't catch any of that.
I didn't see not one thing.
Why not?
Well, we're just getting cozy over here.
We got a different vantage point going on right now.
If the cameraman wouldn't have been in the way, I would have had a great angle of that.
Yeah.
Now I see why you guys get so mad when I stand up in the back of the end zone.
We got any food around here? Did we eat it all? Where's all the food? We got popcorn. Oh, those ear warmers look nice. Can I get those ear warmers? Hey. Can I get those ear warmers? Yeah.
What do we got right here?
Let me try these.
Is this just that's frozen?
Oh, popcorn.
That might not even come out. Look at that.
Here's Evans. Sure if you guys can see the football game from over there or even care at this point.
Sorry, what game?
9-yard game.
That looks really good.
Come on, baby.
How do you like my ear warmer?
You got any more?
Come on, baby.
This is the place to watch a game, I tell you what.
I mean, you guys can't afford butter for your popcorn?
No, it's not bad. It's a little salty.
Can we get a Walton to help us out with that, please?
Nice.
You guys are not taking this seriously enough.
McElroy's going to hate this.
Yeah, that's right. Here's Malik Heath.
Adult beverages, I'm going to take this real seriously. What we got going on around here? Hey, let me see. Hey, give me some of that blanket. Some of that blanket. Oh, hey.
Cole, do you have popcorn inside your shirt right now?
No, I ate it.
Oh.
Lyman.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I love your outfit.
You guys having fun?
Just share it.
There you go. Put the feet up.
How about them hard? How about them hard? How about them hard? I think they're happy. So am I.
You're watching SEC Saturday Night presented by T-Mobile. All right, back to football, guys. This is a 3rd and 1 for Ole Miss. They go with a wildcat and low snap to Judkins, and he picks up the first down. And just a slight move for Dart to get out of the way of that snap.
Tom, you getting anything over there?
They're going with box. Flame last time, now we're going box. Dart going under center. And Judkins gets written out at the 5.
Boy, a little down and around there. Good job of pinning that end, pulling around.
I thought if he would have stopped and what kind of walled off that defender and may allow Judkins to cut back inside.
Quick snap again, and Judkins surges towards the line, and they say he's down at the 1.
Told you guys I spoke to Nick Savage, the Ole Miss strength coach, about Quinshon Judkins before the game. Patrick Browning, his high school football coach, told me that he entered into a varsity strength and conditioning program his 7th grade year.
What?
And carried on throughout.
Judkins is in. As I tell you what's fascinating, you see that such unrun by Judkins, but with the Arkansas defensive staff, they can keep the defense on the field right now so close. Barry Odom on the field, calling plays instead of being up in the booth. He's got his play sheet right in front of him. He's screaming out the play, and guys can not only hear it on the headset, but hear it because they're all within arm's length of them, and then all the signals come in together. Pressure on Dart, steps up, and a fire off of Mingo's left hand. Well, Quinshon Judkins showed what he was made up on that drive for Ole Miss. Here's Judkins getting it in after doing all that work, fellas.
defense helps a little bit. You see Landon Jackson slant down. Replace defender is going to come right up here, but a good block by the left tackle. Jaden Williams up on Drew Sanders allows that thing to bust loose.
That was a 61-yard run that set a new Ole Miss single-season rushing record. He already had the touchdown record. 1,352 yards. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry. And Judkins and that Ole Miss record book have a little bit of Arkansas flavor of all things. I'll tell you about it after this kick. And that squib will kick out of bounds. And we got a flag after the ball going out of bounds. But let's take a look at our T-Mobile hometown connection. Former Ole Miss running back K.O. Dotley just saw his record get broken, single-season rushing record. Dotley was a football and basketball standout from right here in the state of Arkansas from McGee, and he was so highly recruited. His McGee High School graduation was attended by both John Vaught, then the head coach at Ole Miss, and then Bear Bryant, who was the head coach of Kentucky at the time. Not only did he lead the nation in 1949 with 1,312 yards, but that was an SEC record. The rushing record for a career stood for 48 years until our buddy Deuce McAllister broke it.
Based on that piano music, it sounded like they were playing in Deadwood.
Apparently they played in saloons back then. Hole for Sanders. Here's how K.O. Dotley's professional career came to an end. He was playing for the Bears, and he was outside of a restaurant one night in Chicago when the valet who was driving drunk pinned him between two cars. His career was over.
Wow, no tips for that guy.
None. He must have been pretty good because George Halas said at the time it's the best running back he had ever coached.
Jeez.
You know, another running back who's good. Rocket Sanders.
Yeah, he's had a pretty big night, huh? Average. Completely sarcastic.
Yeah. Use that sarcasm font. The effort by Sanders tonight against a ranked opponent is borderline historical. There he is, staying warm. Like Jordan over there on the Ole Miss bench trying to stay toasty.
Tell you what, I'm standing over here by Kendall Briles on the sideline. He's got all of his fingers taped up.
Why?
Like he's an old offensive lineman. Well, because he's signaling so much with his hands, counting one finger, two finger, a bunch of that. He wants these guys from the sideline to be able to see a little more clearly, I think, what he's doing exactly.
It's kind of like a catcher.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, totally.
Old school catcher going to Benito Santiago.
Has so many hand signals, getting that play in quick. He wants to make sure there's no confusion from 50 yards across the field as he's giving those signals.
I feel like there's too much confusion right now. Pretty much just inside zone.
Not at all. I just don't think I've ever seen a coach all taped up like that, like he's playing a game. It's kind of cool.
Kendall told us that the coldest he'd ever been in a football game was years ago when they were playing at Oklahoma State. And one of the guys on the staff was from Pennsylvania, and he swore by a lotion that would kind of keep your body heat towards your skin. And so he said, I didn't layer up, and we poured all this lotion all over our body thinking that this was going to work. He goes, I was freezing. It was the dumbest move I'd ever made. And if the Pennsylvania guy was kept warm by the lotion or cold, he wouldn't let anybody in on it. And he said, no, it's perfectly fine. It worked for me.
Seems like a bad idea. And you just feel like if you put clothes on after that, it's going to be damp. And then you never It never get dry and you never warm. It's a terrible idea.
They need one of these banded heated vests.
False start. Offense number 70.
You should have
5-yard
seen
penalty.
me. My flight took 5
Third down.
hours to get here, by the way, which was crazy. So I didn't have time to go to the hotel to change.
Did you fly here from London?
No, I didn't. I flew here from, where was I this
You're in
morning?
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina. Crazy game right now. But I changed in the B unit, our big truck there, and behind a curtain, and my feet were still kind of sweaty, so I was kicking them to try to dry them off before I put my wool socks on. I didn't want to start the night with wet feet. And they were a little sweaty for one reason or another. Probably all that running through the parking lot to get here.
You left footprints from soggy feet in the B unit?
I did. Apologies to our team in there right now.
I have to put a bath mat down in there.
I might have left the socks
Here's the
in there
screen.
now that I think about it.
And thanks to our friends at Wheels Up, helping make travel easier. Jordan came to us from Soda City this morning and here in Fayetteville this evening.
Yeah, we hit a 120-mile headwind. And let me tell you, those planes aren't super big, and so it just slowed us down. We had to stop for gas halfway, and the trip took a lot longer than we thought it was going to. Hey, you can't control nature, and nature said you're going to take a little bit longer to get to Fayetteville tonight.
How did Batesville look this afternoon when you stopped to little splash and go?
Not much there. I grabbed some peanut butter crackers in the little hospitality room, though.
Fletcher gets that one away, and a fair catch taken. I think it's great that you're spending time down here, and I'm glad your flight made it in time.
Me too.
Did they bring your luggage?
Oh, that's what I forgot.
Well, how about the Razorbacks and their defensive effort tonight?
Well, sure. And it showed tonight. This Arkansas Razorback defense, Drew Sanders and the gang have been in the backfield in Jackson Dart's face. Sanders even grabbed one from him. I mean, it has been dominating on both sides of the ball tonight for the Razorbacks.
Pressure straight up the middle with Poole. Dart gets bumped from the backside, but somehow escapes. And he's able to scramble for a first down. Bumper Poole came on it, blitz right up the middle. The way Arkansas runs a lot of their pressures, Mikey Shearer was telling me, they just run straight at the guards, and someone's got to make a move. And on senior night, Bumper Poole is not coming out of this game anytime soon, it feels like.
No, not at all. And that's especially relevant against Ole Miss because of all the misdirection side to side. They go, you just want to get north and south, blow it up, as they did right there.
Cole, what are you doing?
Trying to stay loose, warm up a little bit. It's not the Peloton, but it'll work.
You trying to PR there?
I'm not going to get a PR. Legs are half numb, knees are frozen solid. I got to get that grilled cheese out of me from Hammer-Trees the other day.
That's pretty good. Malik Heath picks up a few. Whose helmet is that?
Yeah, throw that on.
That's a little dingy.
You actually look a little out of breath. Is that because it's cold or?
No, it's because my legs are numb.
Legs is.
These guys like it. Like, oh, okay, come to the heater. Let's go check it out.
These guys are all happy. Of course they're in a good mood.
Yeah.
On third down.
Okay.
Zach Evans finds a few extra. Cole, ask him if they'll let you borrow a cape.
A cape? No, we're good.
Oh yeah, this is like one of those jet rockets. That's just shooting the heat out.
If you ever
that thing's great, man. Can we get some body heat? Oh, hey, it is so nice. And no, close it up. Close it up.
Here's how they sound.
There's a huge hole for Evans. He's off and running.
Cole just lit his microphone
He'll take it in
on
for
fire.
48 yards out.
His mic is on fire.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's half melted. I don't think so. It's a mess screen.
But Zach Evans taking it 48 yards.
Wow, he's so dynamic. This is that 1-2 punch they have with Quinshon Judkins. This is what he does so well. One stick, get north and south, hit it with speed. And you mentioned, Tom, these linebackers will get aggressive going downhill. When you do that, if you pick the wrong gap or you get out of a gap, that's when Evans and a running back can gash you like that.
better this way.
Yeah, without a windscreen.
I mean, that heater was warm. That is nice.
I know, my microphone found out.
Ole Miss will use a timeout.
30-second timeout.
All right, I want to see if I can get this front of this camera here. This is what happened to Cole's mic flex. It's supposed to go here. He got it too close. Pardon me, the windscreen. I'm frozen. He got too close to the fire. Cole's the kind of guy that if you're trying to put a marshmallow over the flame, he can't just get it toasted on the edges. He puts it all the way in until the whole thing turns into a giant flamethrower. Cole, you ruined the windscreen. We're going to take it out of your paycheck.
Okay, 59 cents. You got it.
Yeah, you're not getting paid for this.
Charge me for a whole pack.
All right. But
the people at home wanted to know what the giant engine heater sounds like.
It's loud, man.
And now it smells like burnt hair. Two-point attempt. Mingo with a little screen, and he takes it in. They ran that play to great success last week against Alabama. This time it goes for a two-point conversion. Mingo puts it in, and there's some life for Ole Miss, down 22.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile, bringing 5G to hometowns across the SEC.
Well, Rocket Sanders is having a monster night for Arkansas. And over to the folks with the nice tickets, too. It's a historical night for Sanders, what he's been able to accomplish tonight. And they're going to line up for an onside kick. And Arkansas covers it. There's a flag now. Now Rocket Sanders is the guy who found it. How about that? Here's what I was alluding to. Second player in the last quarter century, 200 rush yards and 3 rushing touchdowns versus a ranked opponent. The only other one was a man who wore number 5, Darren McFadden. You think about how good this Arkansas running game was last year. Best running team in the Power 5.
The ball not going 10 yards prior to contact. 5-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. First down.
228 yards a game last year rushing. That was the most since McFadden and Felix Jones combined for a school record 3,700 yards. Cole, we can talk a lot about how great the running game has been, but it seems silly not to mention this offensive line when we do so.
Like I said, they played great football, a little bit inconsistent in the 2 games leading up to this, but all in all, it's a group that's played a lot of ball together. They play well together, well coached as well.
Cody Kennedy, the offensive line coach for Arkansas. Sanders try to find the edge and try to stay in bounds. Well, both teams have gotten it done on the ground tonight. Look at these numbers. Ole Miss 375 on the ground with over 200 in the second half. Second FBS game this season, both teams have rushed for over 300 yards. And we had teams win games today, guys, in college football. Navy won a game without completing a pass. Indiana won, and they completed only 2 passes today. It's like everybody's a service academy these days.
If you have the guys who can get it done, go for it. I think the interesting part with these 2 teams, Tom, is we all 3 questioned what would the aerial attack look like for both of these squads. Both teams came out throwing the football. Both teams came out, put the ball in the air early, and I think that's actually what loosened up the defenses and then allowed the rushing attack to get going.
Ole Miss takes its final timeout of the game. We will take it with 42-20, Arkansas becoming bowl eligible. Hey, this is what we got going on. Tusk is hungry. Keith's got us over here. Keith, is anybody? I know Jordan fed him with his mouth one time. Is this dangerous at all?
No.
Do it. Yeah, do it with your mouth.
Get it, big fella. You're like a concert pianist. You can make it with 7 or 8 fingers, couldn't you?
I think I probably could. I don't do anything that important. I thought Tusk would be hungrier right now. Okay, hold on. I don't want to force it, buddy.
You woke him up.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. It's gone. Okay, we got it back. On a 3rd down, Ole Miss brings pressure, and they got to him. Did you see I lost my finger, Cole?
I missed that. Get it, big fella.
Okay, let me see. Keith tells me it's not. Oh! What? I really need that one. I need that one to point at Cole.
There you go, boy. There you go.
Fletcher puts away a wobbler. And a fair catch taken about the 14-yard line. We have 6 minutes and 16 seconds till we get some soup.
I can't wait. It's been fun down here, though. I wish everybody sitting at home could experience a football game down on the sidelines. The speed, the size, it is so different than watching it on TV.
Sitting in the stands with the rich folks getting their popcorn.
Having some popcorn, a couple adult bevies.
Was it at least truffle popcorn or something fancy?
No, not even butter.
Amazing. The other thing you get a feel for that you just can't get watching on TV, or usually are up in the booth, is the emotion of the game, right? Yeah. The thrill, the agony, to borrow a line, the disappointment. That big touchdown run in the 3rd quarter just ripped the heart out of the Ole Miss team.
And I was right there as Rocket crossed the goal line and seeing the look of rejection, the look of disappointment in the face of the defenders, like just, it was helpless. Like, couldn't do anything. And now Sam Pittman, they're at 42-20, and he is giving it to the refs right now.
Not happy.
Ole Miss is out of timeouts. They're down 22 points. The most productive part of their offense, as it's been all season, has been the run game. So this thing has been out of reach for some time. Dart lets it go on the post route, and that is incomplete. Cole, the big picture, there's some really big coaching jobs open. And we got McLaughlin getting in the middle of it. Some big high-profile coaching jobs open. Nebraska, Auburn, others. Does tonight's small sample size, does tonight's result dampen Lane Kiffin's star at all for what those?
I don't think so. You look at how he has taken a roster that was decimated last year, been able to replace a lot of that talent. Really gunned for 10 wins in the regular season. Again, we know what kind of offensive mind he is. You mentioned it. They're down a lot of points, but 375 rushing yards tonight. Ole Miss has 590 total yards.
This is a team that last year, coming into this year, lost their top 7 producers on offense, period. Like, Lane has
proved. A couple of their best defensive players as well.
Lane has proved that he can plug talent into this system and get elite play year in and year out.
So in this era, and here's Judkins, in this era when athletic directors are considering bringing in a new coach, is it fair for them to also consider which players he may bring with him?
100%. That's the era, the transfer portal era that we live in now. Look what Lincoln Riley was able to do at USC. You go get Lincoln Riley because of Lincoln Riley. You also know there's a good chance he's bringing his big-time quarterback.
He's going to bring a Heisman candidate with him to play quarterback.
You don't do it because of that, because you're not going to have that player for very long or those players very long.
Right.
But I think it also shows you that super talented players are going to go where that coach is.
Dart swings this one out to the edge, and Lee Keith gets ridden out of bounds. So where is Lane Kiffin a better fit? Let's just keep it within this conference right now. Ole Miss, based on what he's accomplished, or Auburn, based on all of the potential that Auburn represents?
I don't know if one is better than the other. It's hard to say, because what would he be at Auburn? Auburn has their NIL situation on to victory, is ready to roll. He's got that in sack. Brand new football facility that just opened. Lane's going to be able to walk into, but he's already built something here in Oxford and already been able to prove that he can replace roster members and he can go out and win football games. So
there came a point last year where the rumors were bubbling up about jobs in bigger cities and bigger markets, and we talked with Keith Carter about it before the Tennessee game, and he said, listen, it may get to a point where we just say, Lane, if there's so much money available for you out there, congratulations, thanks for what you've done, and let him go.
That's the situation that you're in right now, because the money for these coaches that's getting thrown around is crazy. But I would say he has built something here, but the future and longevity in this sport because of NIL is in those collectives. And so as a coach, if you're thinking down the road, how can I sustain success? You want to go somewhere where they got a bankroll ready for you to go get who you need. Until something changes, that's the biggest and quickest way to compete for a national championship.
3rd and short now for this Ole Miss offense, which under Lane Kiffin has been one of the best offenses in all of college football. And Quinshon Judkins got enough for the first down.
They're over 400 yards rushing tonight.
Did not. Spot says he's short. Well, go for it anyway on 4th down.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he needs Matt Lindsay to look at the book for that one.
Last time in this situation, they did a little direct snap to Quinshon. Dart jumped out of the way at the last minute. Here they do it again.
And he picks up the first down.
A better snap that time. Remember last time that snap was down around Quinshon's shoelaces.
When you got a guy like Quinshon Judkins, this guy can do everything for you. Is it fair for where we sit to start thinking about then who he would bring with them if he were to get the job, or is that crossing the line?
I mean, it's relevant. That's what would happen. I mean, you think of all the good ball Jackson Dart's put together this year and all the good ball he has ahead of him. I think if Lane was going to go anywhere, that'd be a conversation, right?
Flagged down after that carry again by Judkins.
I will say, though, Ole Miss has turned themselves into a little bit of a destination as well. I mean, if they lose Lane Kiffin for whatever reason, they're going to swing big as well, and they might land somebody big because of what Lane has started to build here.
That's going to back up Ole Miss. 3:48 to play. So leave him with first down at Springdale now. What makes Lane Kiffin so attractive to the decision makers at Auburn?
He can get talent right away through the portal, through recruiting, and he's going to put up points. Now, it's an Auburn program that hadn't scored a lot of points in recent memory. And he's going to be able to find an offensive scheme and put players in position to be able to go make plays and go score points. That gives you a massive advantage in today's college football. Look at Tennessee, what Josh Heupel's done.
Okay, but outside of the football, what about the personality? Auburn's looking for somebody who's going to stand up to Nick Saban, who's going to recruit against both Alabama and Georgia. Dart with a shot just wide and incomplete.
Auburn's never hired a big-name coach. Auburn has never had what we would reference a splash hire in the media, or a hire that you would put on billboards or in headlines. No, it hasn't happened. Gus Malzahn was great as Auburn's offensive coordinator before he got the job. Gene Chizik did not have a great record at Iowa State before he came to Auburn. Terry Bowden came from Samford in Homewood, Alabama. Chris Hatcher doing a great job there, by the way. But that's not one that you would just say, oh, yeah, amazing hire.
Well, Lane would be that splash hire, just like when he got to Ole Miss. 3rd and 16 now. And just wide. So on the other side, Arkansas is like a 22-point lead with 3 minutes to play. Here comes a 4th down and What Sam Pittman has built here in 3 short years for a guy who did not have head coaching experience is simply amazing.
It's unexplainable. I mean, we're talking about splash hires, and Sam Pittman wasn't the sexiest hire. An offensive line coach that had never been. Exactly.
Yes.
But he is the quintessential example of when you build a culture that's sustainable, that puts players first, that develops players, you can build something special, and that's what he's done.
Just out of reach, but a flag down. And this will reset it for Ole Miss.
I would love to play for Sam Pittman. His players love to play for him. That is special. That doesn't mean it's a splash hire. It's not the sexiest hire sometimes, but you can build something pretty special with that as well.
Well, and then he goes and gets a defensive coordinator who has been a head coach, an offensive coordinator who will be a head coach one day.
Yep.
And he can push his ego to the side and say, I want your input. Run your offense. Run your defense. And by the way, tell me how I can be better at running my program.
Yeah.
Not afraid to ask those questions, and he has guys who can help him with that.
So 4th and 14. Pardon me, first down after the pass interference. Dart to the slant. Great hands and a touchdown for Ole Miss. 13-yard strike to Malik Heath.
That's the best ball Jackson Dart has thrown all night. He's been just a little off on some of these deep throws, a little off on some of the RPOs. That time a little RPO action with the post behind it, short post behind it, and he put that one right on the money, right in stride, right out in front. And that was that shortstop turning too. We talked about Lane Kiffin wanting a shortstop at quarterback. Little play fake, quick set of the feet, get it off with the arm angle and the sidearm type throw and put it right on the money.
Dart was at Corner Canyon High School outside of Salt Lake City. The state semifinals and the state championship were cold weather games. But outside of that, he said, I'd rather play in warm. That wasn't an option tonight. 42-27, under 3 to play. SEC Saturday night on the field. I usually pass, but imbibe. And Jordan getting all the popcorn he can, making new friends. Cole went for a spin. These are just some of the lowlights of our night tonight. Can't believe Tusk took my finger off. It's amazing.
There was a football game too.
Yeah, they're going to have an onside kick. How about this ball placement?
Love this.
That's what Lucy did to Charlie Brown. And just a roller.
Worm burner.
Well, right to Arkansas. Hey, let's talk about Bumper Pool just a minute. I mean, here's a guy who set the school record for tackles. He's coming off the field now. Team captain. He is Captain America here in Northwest Arkansas. 21 double-digit tackle games. There's some love with Coach Shearer. What a career for Bumper Pool. He played with some great players since he got here on campus.
But he would be the first one to tell you that he wasn't a great player when he got here, which is why Barry Odom told us his career exactly the way you would want to see a college football career go. A young man who came in, had to work, had to develop, had to spend extra time in the film room, had to spend extra time with his position coaches to try to develop his game and get better, and he did it. And he did a lot of it on his own. I thought the coolest thing, Tom, you asked him, what would you tell your freshman self now at this age? What advice would you give yourself as a freshman? And he said, I don't think it would matter because I wouldn't have listened to it. Which is so real. It's so true. And to have that awareness, that presence to say, I could probably go give freshman me some really good advice, but freshman me wasn't going to listen to it. So who cares?
He's had his sister around the program since he's been here. She's now the director of on-campus recruiting. And he said, you know, she's got that mother hen about her. She's always, even to this day, taking care of me. The whole family on the field pregame. Here's Bumper Pool.
Love you, man. Proud of you.
Thank you
Let's
very
go get
much.
bowl eligible.
Right,
No, hell, you did more than I did. You did more for me than I ever could for you. Love you.
I mean, that's Sam Pittman right there. I mean, that's why you would want to play for him.
I just saw Bumper Pool run over to the to the heater over there, and he's looking around. I was like, how'd that feel? He goes, pretty special. He's like, it's not going to hit me. Doesn't hit me right now. It's going to hit me later, but I've been through some stuff here.
Yep. It'll hit him later. No
to have it finish like this, he's like, that was special.
Your last one at home, and Jordan, you know this. The last one at home is just that's tough, man. It's awesome. It's cool. It's hard. It's miserable.
And then right about now, you left in my career here at home.
So many memories, and I tell you, every college football coach in America would want a guy like Bumper Pool right now. Every single one of them.
Is that all that mattered tonight?
That's all that mattered. Get the win, senior night. Can't ask for anything else.
Now you can get emotional. All right, you get under a minute, so you can let the emotions take over, or no?
No, I'm gonna suck in the joy of winning first.
Before I let you go, this coaching staff: Mikey Shear, Barry Odom, Sam Pittman. What have they meant to you in your playing career?
Everything. They changed the entire program around from where we started to go out here on senior night, beat Ole Miss, team that's what 11 in the country. Can't beat it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Every coach in America wants a guy like that.
Yeah.
We asked him about, Sam Pittman told us some of the slogans he was trying to come up with, and Bumper Pool comes up to talk to us, and he said, you asked him, what'd you think about that? And he said, stupid.
You remember a couple years ago, they beat Colorado State, and they introduced Club Dub, where they turned the locker room into a dance party. And he said afterwards, a year later, after the previous regime had left, he said, that's the dumbest thing ever. We're supposed to win games. We don't need to fake it.
He is all about
By the way, this hit me yesterday. He's the most Cole Kubelik player I've ever met. He is straight meat and potatoes. I don't care. Get out of the way. Let me play ball.
And legally changed his name to Bumper.
Yeah, that's true. I love that.
That's awesome.
By the way, if you didn't have an appreciation for how hard it is to catch a punt,
I was just
four
thinking
dudes
that.
running down your throat, that's a pretty good example this close to it.
That thing goes so high.
I don't know. When
comes down
I
sideways.
got caught like 7 in a row on the field.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Those
Some
aren't
of them
real
one-handed.
punts. Yeah. It was...
So they're able to get some subs into the game now. Mikey Shear's still coaching them up.
Coaching doesn't stop, man.
It's not a bad candidate for defensive coordinators.
Absolutely.
A lot of programs would love to have that guy.
Well, you mentioned Bumper Pool. You think about how well these linebackers have played. Drew Sanders playing off the ball this year. Michael Shear was a pretty good college linebacker. Barry Odom was a pretty good college linebacker. You have that type of linebacker intellect that's coaching you every day. It's not a total surprise that that group has played the way that they have. It's going to be tough to hold on to him. I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah, tell him, Tom.
Yeah, back him up, Mikey.
He backed up.
Get down! Get down! No, that's all done. Fuck that.
We got flags down, and Mingo couldn't quite bring it in.
You saw that chip by Evans, Jordan?
Yeah. Yikes. What did he say?
He was just happy the flag was on them. Yeah. Sam Pittman will decline the penalty. How about the chip?
That's a whole bag.
Full slab.
Full slab?
Full
but
slab.
If the chip, it's kind of like the whole bag.
Okay.
I just invented a new one, right? When it's the running back and he's chipping. Yeah.
I'll allow it.
That's nachos. That's a whole thing of nachos.
If it's Pringles, it's a whole can.
Extra cheese.
Oh, here's a move to the outside, and Evans with a stiff arm will get a few extra. 39-yard run.
I mean, it's crazy. Ole Miss has
449 yards.
449 rushing yards. 689 total yards and 27 points. It was the penalties earlier that took off a few big explosive plays, one of them a touchdown. I think that really changed the complexion of this game early.
116 penalty yards.
Oh. They're going to have 2 guys over 200 yards rushing.
Jeez.
And lose the game.
Let's go talk to Sam Pittman.
All right. Arkansas is bowl eligible. The clock is triple zeros. Not only that, but they knocked off a ranked team at home on Senior Day.
Coach Pittman, I want to start with this. This is a hell of a win.
Yeah.
But this was Senior Day.
Yeah.
And you are bowl eligible.
Yeah.
I know what things like that mean to you and your program.
Yeah.
Can you just try to help us explain how big those things are?
Big deal. You know, that's our, we've been here 3 years. That's a top 15 team in the country we're able to beat. And that's, our 6th win over the top 25 teams since we've been here. The kids are bowl eligible 3 years in a row. Our program's on the up and up. We play in a hell of a division, and that's what it is. You got to be ready each and every week, but we've got a good football team. I think you saw that tonight, and we got a big game against Missouri, but we'll celebrate tonight.
Coach, it was a pretty big thing to have KJ back. Just how much did he mean to this team and this offense?
Everything. I think our first 2 drives, we scored. The first 2 scores, we really didn't block them up well. KJ just made plays, and of course our wide receivers made some catches, but with KJ in there, we don't have to be perfect, and because he'll make us that way. So I might have took the gas off too fast, but I'll say this. We got more than they do, and that's all that matters.
21 seniors played their final home game tonight, and they're all important, but it feels like Bumper Pool and what he's done is emblematic of the hard work that you've put into this program, too.
Well, especially because Bumper's played beat up all year, and he's had injury problems. He came back. He wanted to get the all-time tackle record, which he has, and a lot of good things. His sister works in the office. His brother used to work in equipment. The Pohl family's very, very valuable to the University of Arkansas and the football team.
How does Sam Pittman celebrate being bowl eligible?
Well, I believe I'm going to have my old cold beer. And that's kind of what I like to do,
Do you need any company?
Anybody want to come, but bring some, you know what I mean?
BYOB, baby.
Go home.
All right, well, we got to make a stop. Probably Casey's General Store will be open. And then we're on the way to the Pittman House. Dari, y'all can come if you want to. When we come back, you'll hear from one of the best running backs in college football, Rocket Sanders. Fellas?
Yeah, I don't want to know what's bigger, Tommy, your hotel room in Hoover that one year or Sam Pittman's house. You have to let us know how that works out.
How you know about his hotel?
He had a suite one year, and it was beautiful. He said it was an accident. I don't know how it happened. All right, he did good entertaining up there as well, too. Real quick take on what Arkansas just showed us.
Unbelievable. And you have to give a lot of credit to their quarterback, KJ Jefferson, because he was the catalyst in all of this, even though it didn't reflect on the stat sheet.
All right, let's get it back out to Tom Hart, Tom.
Yeah, listen, Dari, we know how to throw a party, but if we're throwing a party, we're inviting this dude, all right? Because he got it done tonight. Cole, how impressive.
Well, if anybody was wondering how you got the nickname Rocket, I think you earned it tonight. I got to ask you this first. How many times do you think you guys ran inside zone tonight?
I'll probably say like 30 times. Yeah, like you said, like 30 times. I'll say, first time I hit it, you know what I mean? I just told him keep going. My coach, just let's get it rolling, you know what I mean? That was the goal, just to get the ball movement. And I just want to shout out the offensive line and then the receivers with the blocking as well.
Were you cold at all tonight? I was freezing.
Oh yeah, I was definitely cold. I'm from Florida, so I was definitely cold. So I was definitely, my coach, he from Florida too, so he was like, stay warm. So yeah, I definitely was cold.
We don't really need to hear exactly why or how, because we saw it tonight, but I want to know from you and your teammates, having KJ back in the lineup, being able to do what he does, What does that do for your confidence? What does that do for your belief in this offense?
Just definitely with him being a quarterback, just helping me out with my run, just because they got to watch two people, you know what I mean? So with him coming back, it was definitely a blessing for him to come back, you know what I mean? And just help me out with me. I'm helping him out with the fakes, and he helping me out with being the quarterback he is.
All right, you bear a lot of responsibility, as you know, wearing that number 5 here at Arkansas. You've talked to Darren McFadden about what it means. What do you think he would say about your game tonight?
I feel like he'll call me and be like, great job, you know what I mean? But I know I got a lot more to work on. You know what I mean? I'm going to watch film, figure out what I can do better. That's how you'd be great, just trying to figure out what you can do better. But I feel like he's going to call me and be like, great job.
How does it feel to be bowl eligible?
It's a blessing, man. I feel like it was good, and I feel like we got together. And I say one thing, what got everybody together was being like, it felt like senior night. You feel me? It felt like senior night, what happened the last game. And we got a little shirt, who we playing for, you know what I mean? And I feel like everybody came in with a strong mentality and just playing for the next man.
Let's let him get warmed up. You got one more?
I got one more. You guys being aware of that, though, senior night, getting bowl eligible, there are a lot of distraction in today's college football. What does it say about Sam Pittman and I guess the culture here in Fayetteville for you guys to be able to understand what was at stake?
I say just going, I feel like the energy was crazy in practice. And I know we had a lot of ups and downs, but I feel like he came with a lot of aggressiveness before this game started and got everybody hyped. We throw our music on, but I feel like just having that shirt, that means a lot. I feel like not just for me, but the team as well.
Well, Rocky, you already blasted off, so have a safe landing there into the locker room, man. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations. Look at that jersey. I mean, he's got rips in it. He's got
shredded
paint on them. Amazing. I want to talk about one thing before we wrap up our night here tonight. You were in South Carolina this morning. The story of the day in the SEC is what Shane Beamer accomplished by knocking off Tennessee at Williams-Brice Stadium tonight. How big a surprise is this?
That's a huge surprise, but I'll go back to something I said in the broadcast. I talked to Shane Beamer this morning, talking to Spencer Rattler yesterday. He's like, man, go play loose. Go play aggressive. I could have recruited anybody to come and dink and dunk and play careful and check the ball down. I got you because you can make throws that nobody else can. I think he inspired him a little bit.
438 yards and 6 touchdowns for Spencer Rattler.
Wow. It's been there, though. Juice Wells has been there. Jaheim Bell is sitting there waiting. They've had the guys, and this was the Spencer Rattler we thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
The dynamic passer that can go put up 400 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Boy, the league is starting to evolve, isn't it? Like with the rise of South Carolina, what Sam Pittman has accomplished here, and now it feels like we may be in a period of transition with the team that was on the other sideline with Ole Miss. What's most important for Ole Miss going into the Egg Bowl?
I think understanding that that's a rivalry game and that's still a big game and that can still make your season. Some of the things we just talked with Sam Pittman and Rocket Sanders about that are forgotten in a lot of today's college football, that game can make your season.
Did you have fun down in the field tonight?
I had a ton of fun. I'll tell you what, my feet are getting a little cold now.
Yeah.
Is this thing still working? Oh, yeah. It's still
the real
working.
tree's working.
I got my play call, my sheet in there, too.
Yeah, folks at Bandit with the hookup. That's awesome. Yeah, we're warm-ish. Actually, we're freezing cold. It's time for us to stop working and find a hot tub or something. Dar, you got a lot to talk about, and you're welcome in my suite any day, by the way.
Thank you much, my friend. All right, great stuff by you guys. That was fun watching you